Chapter 1488. It had been a few days since the starry sky wheel left the chaotic inner world. Therefore, Ning Cheng's biggest worry was that Qi Mutian would find his way to the Grand Essence realm. When he heard Luofei say that Qi Mutian didn't go to the Grand Essence realm, Ning Cheng finally felt relieved. Qi Mutian was extremely powerful. Before he stepped into the fusing realm, he didn't dare to say that he could deal with Qi Mutian. But now, Ning Cheng no longer feared Qi Mutian. Even if he had just stepped into the Unity realm, he was confident that he could kill Qi Mutian. With Qi Mutian's ability, he should be able to obtain a primordial Dao rune. When he obtained the primordial Chaos Dao runes, he had just created his realm. When Qi Mutian obtained the primordial Chaos Dao runes, he had already merged his realm. Ning Cheng had already refined and fused with the primordial Dao charm. Therefore, he naturally understood that treasures like the primordial Dao charm were best obtained as low as possible. Of course, the prerequisite was that you could control it. Even with Ning Cheng's strength in the creation realm, he almost fell under the primordial mist Dao charm. Even if ordinary creation realm experts obtained the primordial Dao runes, they would probably die without anyone's help. Based on the situation after the chaotic inner realm opened, it was impossible for those with weaker cultivations to obtain the primordial Dao aura. Those that were able to obtain the primordial Dao aura were naturally top figures amongst them, so they probably wouldn't suffer a backlash from the primordial Dao. In Ning Cheng's opinion, Qi Mutian hadn't gone to the Grand Essence realm yet. One possibility was that Qi Mutian didn't care about such a trivial matter at all. Secondly, Qi Mutian had yet to completely fuse with the primordial Dao runes. Regarding this point, Ning Cheng had never doubted it. He had spent hundreds of thousands of years fusing with the primordial Dao runes, and he had almost perished under the primordial Dao runes. Of course, this was related to his injuries, but at the same time, his injuries were also an opportunity for him to speed up the process of heaven and earth decay. The starry sky will cut through one boundary after another in the void as it sped along at high speed. Ji Luofei and Yan Ji snuggled up to Ning Cheng's side. Over the past few days, the three of them had never separated. "My husband, how long more before we can return to Taisu?" Ji Luofei's face was ruddy, and her Dao charm looked even more condensed. No one could tell that she had just reached Dao perfection. Over the past few days, Ji Luofei and Ning Cheng had been spending a lot of time together. Ning Cheng had fused with the primordial Dao charm and stepped into the amalgamation realm. This kind of benefit would naturally be shared with Ji Luofei. Not to mention Ji Luofei, even Yan Ji, who had just become a married woman, also vaguely showed signs of stepping into the third step. Moreover, Ning Cheng was trying his best to suppress it, to prevent Yan Ji from stepping into the third step so quickly. Yan Ji's understanding of the third step and Ning Cheng's understanding of the third step were on a completely different level. Although Ning Cheng had explained to Yan Ji that cutting down one's Dao and condensing laws to evolve a world was the strongest way to step into the third step. It was just that this great Dao was easy to talk about, but to do it was extremely difficult. Although Yan Ji had a lot of opportunities, but none of them were as heaven-defying as Ning Cheng, nor did she have a treasure like the mysterious yellow bead. Now that Ning Cheng had stepped into the third step, he no longer needed the mysterious yellow bead. However, the reason why Ning Cheng was able to reach this point was not because of his qualifications, but because of the mysterious yellow bead. Without a heaven-defying treasure like the mysterious yellow bead, even if Yan Ji knew that Ning Cheng had, cutting the Dao to create a realm, she wouldn't know where to start. "Sister Luofei, didn't you say you wanted a child? Now I can take it." Yan Ji felt incomparably satisfied in her heart. She had never doubted Ning Cheng's words. Ever since she left the Yan clan, she had never had such a comfortable and contented life. Instead of thinking about stepping into the third step, she naturally thought about something else. If not for wanting to step into the third step, she would have already rushed ahead of Luofei. After saying those words, she even thought about how cute the child would be once it came out. Luofei indeed wanted a child. But after hesitating for a while, she still spoke up, "Husband, before we came here, Senior Shi Qianxi from the 9 Revolutions Sacred Tao Pond went to the mysterious yellow sect once." "What did she say?" Ning Qing hurriedly asked. He had always been thinking about Shi Qianghua. But because he didn't want to affect Ji Luofei and Yan Ji's happiness, he didn't say anything. He hadn't accompanied Luofei and Yan Ji for a long time. Although this time was nothing in the vast universe, he still felt guilty in his heart. What did he cultivate? Cultivating the heavenly Tao, standing alone in the clouds, and then living alone. Such a Tao was truly not something that Ning Qing pursued. His Tao was that wherever he was, the Tao would be there. He had never suppressed his own temperament and emotions. Therefore, his existence, his Tao, was filled with all kinds of worldly emotions. Senior Shi said that Qianghua went to the Grand Change Realm's path of severing emotions and never came back. She wanted to ask you for help, but you weren't at home at that time. Ji Luofei explained. It turned out that the path of severing emotions and samsara was in the Grand Change Realm. Ning Qing decided to go to the Grand Change Realm to find Qianghua first before returning to the Grand Essence Realm. "Luofei, Sister Ji, I plan to go directly to the Grand Change Realm, we." Before Ning Qing could finish, Luofei reached out and stopped him. She then said with a soft voice, "Husband, how long will it take for us to return to the Grand Change Realm?" Ning Qing calculated and said, 2 to 3 months. Ji Luofei and Yan Ji felt startled, and Yan Ji asked, "If we didn't ride the starry sky wheel, wouldn't it take less time if husband crossed the void alone?" Ning Qing nodded and said, "Yes, if I went alone, would indeed come back in a shorter time." In fact, Ning Qing could send Ji Luofei and Yan Ji into the mysterious yellow bead, and then he could return to the Grand Change Realm in the shortest time. But for such a long time, he hadn't been together with Yan Ji and Luofei. It was just a little more than 2 months, yet he still had to rush back. It really disappointed the two of them. Ji Luofei suddenly spoke up, "Husband, after you reach the Grand Change Realm, you can go directly to find Sister Qianghua. Sister Ji and I will return to the Grand Essence Realm and wait for you and Sister Qianghua." "Why? Since we're already here, let's go together." Ning Qing looked at Ji Luofei in confusion. Ji Luofei showed a slight smile, "I believe that husband will definitely find Sister Qianghua and bring Sister Qianghua back. We can just wait at home. There's one more thing." Ning Qing instantly understood Ji Luofei's meaning. That is, after he rescued Qianghua, she wanted him to accompany Qianghua. However, Luofei didn't say it out loud. If he couldn't save Qianghua with his strength, then it would be the same even if they went. Ning Qing raised his hand and took out a 7-colored glaze and a half-moon twin rings before handing them to Ji Luofei and Yan Ji respectively. "These are 2 weapons that I refined before the chaotic inner world opened. I'll leave them for you to protect yourselves. Good treasures." When Ning Qing took out these 2 weapons, Ji Luofei and Yan Ji understood that they weren't ordinary treasures. With their current vision, they could naturally tell that these 2 treasures exceeded the category of top-quality spirit artifacts. Yan Ji grabbed the crescent moon twin rings and looked at it for a long time before giving out a sigh and speaking, "If I had this treasure before, that fat monk might not have been able to imprison me and Luofei at once." Ji Luofei also reached out and grabbed the 7-colored glaze. After hearing Yan Ji's words, she spoke up to Ning Qing with some worry, "Husband, you have to be careful of that sage Buddha Chu Pu that the fat monk mentioned. An expert like the fat monk is just a disciple in front of that person. This person definitely isn't someone to be taken lightly." Ning Qing hugged Ji Luofei tightly and chuckled, "Don't worry. For that sage Buddha Chu Pu, I'm not someone to be trifled with." Ji Luofei's mood immediately improved when she heard those words. She raised her hand and held Ning Qing's hand. She never doubted Ning Qing's words. "By the way, what was the other thing you told me before?" Ning Qing thought back to what Ji Luofei had said before and asked. Ji Luofei's face turned red, and Yan Ji suddenly understood. Seeing Yan Ji about to speak, Ji Luofei quickly whispered into Ning Cheng's ear, "There are still 2 months left. Let's have a child." Yan Ji laughed, while Ji Luofei's face turned even redder. She had never spoken with such seductive words before, which made her feel unnatural for a while. 2 months later, Grand Change Realm. This place has really changed a lot. It looks like Bai Ling and Jia Xinshui didn't lie to me. They really want to make the Grand Change Realm a beautiful place. After Ning Cheng landed in the Grand Change Realm, he swept out with his spiritual consciousness and immediately understood the changes in the Grand Change Realm. Ning Cheng didn't plan to look for Bai Ling and Jia Xinshui. The Grand Change Realm's development was more complete than before, and there were no more messy forces. The law of the jungle was also a rare sight. Therefore, Ning Cheng felt that it was all thanks to these 2 people. Since the Grand Change Realm and the Grand Essence Realm had gradually become similar, Ning Cheng didn't plan to disturb the 2. His spiritual consciousness permeated every corner of the Grand Change Realm. With his current strength, as long as the Tao of severing emotions and samsara was in the Grand Change Realm, no matter how hidden it was, he could find it. This time, Ning Cheng did not tear this place apart. The only possibility was that the toughness of this grayish-white space was much tougher compared to the positional plane. Ning Cheng raised his hand for the second time and tore it down. This time, he used almost 60% of his Tao charm power. A cracking sound emerged, and a passage appeared in front of Ning Cheng. The Tao charm aura coming from the passage contained some samsara Tao charm. Sure enough, it wasn't a sea behind him, but a space. Coupled with the slight Tao charm of samsara, Ning Cheng felt almost 100% sure that this was the 9 revolving sacred Tao Pon's path of severing emotions and samsara. Ning Cheng did not hesitate for even half a moment and directly stepped into the passage. A powerful and majestic Tao rune aura surged within the passageway. These auras were very powerful and the laws were very clear. If Ning Cheng had come here before stepping into the 3rd step, he would have definitely been shocked by the majestic Tao charm aura here. Now, Ning Cheng had not only stepped into the 3rd step, but he had also stepped into the convergence realm. To him, the aura here was like a toddler learning to walk, which was quite ridiculous. Even if he succeeded in creating a world here, it would only be a little stronger than a pseudo-world. Even experts like Tao Monarch Celestial couldn't compare. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng could clearly feel a trace of Qionghua's aura. Even after tens of thousands of years, Ning Cheng could still feel it. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out unscrupulously, and the next moment, he saw Qionghua's figure a few hundred feet away. Shi Qionghua's figure froze, just like a statue. Ning Cheng suddenly felt sluggish. He could clearly see that Qionghua didn't look like a statue, but had truly turned into a statue. Ning Cheng's eyes almost popped out of their sockets as he took a step forward and landed beside Shi Qionghua. His hands and feet, even his entire body, were trembling. Qionghua had not only turned into a statue, but she also didn't have any soul aura. Was this the spiritual soul annihilation? The terrifying Samsara Tao charm aura swept over, and the Samsara Tao charm aura seemed to want to turn Ning Cheng into a statue. Die for me. Ning Cheng raised his hand and punched out. The powerful Tao charm aura that wanted to sweep him in and turn him into a statue dissipated under Ning Cheng's punch. As if sensing Ning Cheng's power, the terrifying Samsara Tao charm aura no longer dared to approach Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng fully understood why Qionghua had turned into a statue. When she crossed this place, the endless Samsara Tao charm aura suppressed her, causing her spirit soul to dissipate. The Samsara Tao charm then condensed her into a statue. The violence and anxiety slowly subsided. This was the place where the Samsara Tao charm was located. Why did Qionghua turn into a statue? Ning Cheng's trembling hand held Qionghua's cold palm, and his gaze fell on a huge white platform not far away. 3 words floated above the white platform, severing thoughts platform. With Ning Cheng's strength, with just a thought, he had already understood what was going on. Severing thoughts meant severing one's Tao intent, which was somewhat similar to the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond's severing of emotions. He had seen Shi Xiangjuan, who was older than the founder of the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond. Therefore, he knew that the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond also required severing emotions and samsara. The reason why Qianghua hadn't come here was that she hadn't severed the distracting thoughts in her heart. Ning Cheng recalled Qianghua's words before they parted. I've never had any thoughts about any man, but in my 9th life, I became husband and wife with you. I think I must have used my life to fall in love with you. Even if I severed the emotions of my 9 lives because of cultivation, I still couldn't sever this memory. I'm afraid that if I really stepped into the 3rd step, I would no longer know who you are. Qianghua couldn't sever the feelings of being husband and wife with him in his 9th life, so she didn't want to sever this emotion. Therefore, the samsara Tao charm turned her into a statue, and she fell here. How much love can I have? It's the most precious thing in my 10 lives. I will never sever it. Ning Cheng suddenly felt Qianghua's inner confession at that time. Qianghua. Ning Cheng's eyes turned blurry. He knew that this wasn't Qianghua's thoughts, but Qianghua's obsession. He wasn't the luckiest when he obtained the mysterious yellow bead, comprehended the cutting Tao creation realm, or obtained the primordial Tao charm and successfully merged with his world. Instead, he had Luofei and Yan Ji, as well as Qianghua's emotional obsession with him. Just like Yuqing, this was a woman who left an obsession in him. Ning Cheng looked at Qianghua's lifeless face and murmured, Qianghua, I once told you to remember that there's a love that doesn't enter samsara, regardless of time and space. No matter how strong the Grand Tao is, it can't sever it. If the Grand Tao can sever that love, then we can do it again. If the Grand Tao blocks us, then I will sever that Grand Tao. I didn't have that strength before, but today, let me sever the Grand Tao that blocks us. Whether it's the vast universe or the supreme powerhouses, no one can stop me. Ning Cheng's initial voice was just a whisper. But as he spoke, his voice grew louder. In the end, his voice sounded like a morning bell and evening drum, rumbling endlessly within the samsara passage. Destroy for me. After saying this, Ning Cheng suddenly turned around and punched the cutting thought platform. The cutting thought platform contained the endless samsara distracting thoughts of the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond had accumulated over the years. But in front of Ning Cheng's punch, the mind-severing platform was like a piece of paper, shattering into pieces. Ning Cheng's punch shattered the cutting thought platform, and the endless mottled distracting thoughts rolled up. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and the mottled and boundless distracting thoughts disappeared without a trace. A sharp and shrill voice emerged, Who are you? What does my 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond's emotion severing samsara Tao have anything to do with you? Do you want to destroy my cutting thought platform and my samsara Tao? The enmity of snatching someone's grand Tao is absolutely irreconcilable. Do you think that my 9 revolutions sacred Tao is easy to bully? Ning Cheng raised his hands and picked up the ice-cold Shi Qianghua before speaking with an equally cold voice, This emotion-severing samsara Tao doesn't need to exist anymore, and neither do you. The place that turned my wife into a sculpture, I, Ning Cheng, will turn it into dust. Shi Qianghua is a descendant of my Shi clan. What does her life and death have to do with you? Even if she is your Tao companion, you are still a descendant of my Shi clan. How dare you bully the ancestors of my Shi clan? Ning Cheng spoke up with an even colder voice, even Shi Xiangjuan doesn't dare to act in front of me. Who do you think you are? You are just an abandoned daughter left behind by Shi Xiangjuan. If it weren't for Shi Qianghua also coming from the same sect, Ning Cheng would have already cursed it out loud. Chapter 1490. You know my mother, who the hell are you? The shrill voice became a little clearer, but it still carried a hint of fear. Sure enough, Ning Qing didn't guess wrong. With a snort, he casually swept up a surging Dao charm. After he smashed the severing thought platform, the reincarnation passage began to crack. Kaka sounds emerged, and the Dao charm in the passage began to shatter, causing everything to collapse. Stop! The trembling voice turned sharp again. Not only was it sharp, but it was also filled with fear. Stop! Ning Qing sneered. No matter who the other party was to Shi Qianghua, he wouldn't stop even if he destroyed Shi Qianghua's spirit soul and turned her into a statue. Boom boom. The collapse of the reincarnation passage grew more and more intense. At this moment, not only did the Dao charm dissipate, but the passage also collapsed. Even the laws within it began to shatter. Please spare me. Leave my 9 revolving sacred Dao pond lineage. The voice knew that her strength was too far from Ning Cheng's and started to beg for mercy. Ning Cheng could clearly see that this remnant soul was hiding in a bronze mirror. Spare her. Ning Cheng not only wanted to destroy the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond's reincarnation passage, but he also wanted to destroy this mirror and the remnant soul within it. Boom! Ning Cheng punched out again, and the passage next to the mirror shattered. The bronze mirror fell down and floated in the void. There was a horrified image in the bronze mirror, and the image seemed to be begging for mercy. Ning Qing guessed that this mirror was most likely the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond's weapon. Even if it was the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond, he wouldn't care about it. He still raised his fist, and the Dao charm wrapped around it. He was about to punch out. Just when Ning Cheng's fist was about to hit the mirror, he suddenly stopped and looked behind him. Now that you're here, say what you want. I don't have time to talk to you. Thank you, Dao Lord Ning, for showing mercy. An anxious voice was heard, and a slender figure appeared after the voice. Shi Xiangjuan greets Dao Lord Ning. As soon as the figure landed on the ground, she bowed and greeted Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng just nodded casually and didn't speak any nonsense. If nothing had happened to Qianghua, he would have given Shi Xiangjuan some face. But now that Shi Xiangjuan's illegitimate daughter turned Qianghua into a statue, how could he let it go? Even if Shi Xiangjuan came, he would still kill her. Shi Xiangjuan's realm hadn't changed, but Ning Cheng knew that her strength had more than doubled compared to when he first met her. Not only that, but the Dao charm around her had become more solid and clear, indicating that her future achievements would be even higher. It seemed that she had gained a lot in the chaotic inner realm. When Shi Xiangjuan saw Shi Qianghua in Ning Cheng's hands, she instantly understood why Ning Cheng was so respectful towards her before, and even addressed her as senior. The reason why people respected her was not because of her, Shi Xiangjuan, but because her descendants had a relationship with Ning Cheng. Now that the descendant of the Shi clan, who had a relationship with Ning Cheng, was injured by his daughter, it would be strange if Ning Cheng let it go so easily. She had experienced the treasure hunt in the chaotic inner realm and had a clear understanding of Ning Cheng's situation in the chaotic inner realm. Not only did Ning Cheng snatch away a primordial Dao charm, but he also calmly retreated under the sneak attack of 4 peak powerhouses. Of. Lord Cheng was that he? If she wanted to say. If Ning of Cheng, of. If he, if, in, and the woman, he, in. Ning Cheng was waiting for her to deal with this matter. If the woman in Ning Cheng's hand couldn't wake up, then no matter what Shi Qian has said, it would be useless. After the shadow in the mirror saw Shi Xiangjuan, it suddenly stopped trembling in fear. Instead, it screamed in a vague voice, "Am I too much? What did you do to me? I'm just a remnant of your greed for a night of pleasure. You abandoned me for the sake of the great Tao. If it weren't for the sake of making up for your guilt, would you have left the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pawn to me? I swear that one day, I will tell you that no one cares about me. I can still step onto the supreme great Tao. Because of the excitement, the figure in the mirror became blurrier. Shi Xiangjuan's face turned pale. She raised her hand and shot out dozens of Dao charm auras to seal the bronze mirror. The image in the mirror gradually faded away. Shi Xiangjuan didn't say a word. Instead, she kept slapping it. Soon, the mirror changed and slowly turned into a pool surrounded by mist. This pool reminded Ning Cheng of the pool he had seen in the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond. Shi Xiangjuan's face turned even paler. After the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond appeared, she said to Ning Cheng, "Dao Lord Ning, what's her name? Give her to me." Ning Cheng understood what Shi Xiangjuan wanted to do. She wanted to retrieve Shi Qionghua's soul from the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond's weapon. Ning Cheng felt excited in his heart. He hadn't thought of this. Fortunately, Shi Xiangjuan came. Otherwise, even if he thought of this, he wouldn't have found a way to retrieve Shi Qionghua's essence spirit soul. Even if he suddenly controlled Shi Xiangjuan's daughter, it wouldn't help. Apart from Shi Xiangjuan, who could take back this mirror from her daughter without any accident, no one else could do it. The 9 Revolution Samsara pond was almost equivalent to a part of Qiu Shi. Once he refined it or took control of it, any thoughts or soul within it would disappear. At that time, Shi Qionghua's spirit soul would truly perish. Ning Cheng spoke up calmly, "You arrived in time to prevent Qionghua's spiritual soul from perishing. I am already grateful to you. As for your unfilial daughter, you can take her back and raise her. Many thanks for Dao Lord Ning's magnanimity. Xiangjuan will take her leave." Shi Xiangjuan thanked him once again. She didn't come to the 5 grand worlds for her daughter, but to visit Ning Cheng. She wanted to follow Ning Cheng to the gate of good fortune. Now that something like this happened, even if she had thick skin, she wouldn't be able to bring it up again. Ning Cheng ignored Shi Xiangjuan. He directly tore through the Grand Simplicity Void with Shi Qionghua and landed in the Grand Essence Realm. Chapter 1491. As soon as Ning Cheng stepped into the Grand Essence Realm, Luofei and Yan Ji immediately flew out of the Grand Essence Mountain. Apparently, they had been waiting for Ning Cheng to return. Behind Luofei and Yan Ji, Ruolan, Chu Manhe, Dao Lord Proud Dance, Ao Kan, and the others came out to greet them. "Big brother." The moment Ning Ruolan saw Ning Cheng, her heart finally fell to the ground. Then she noticed Shi Qionghuo in Ning Cheng's arms. "Husband, what happened to elder sister Qionghuo?" Ji Luofei also saw Shi Qionghuo in Ning Cheng's arms and asked in a nervous manner. "Something happened to her when she reached the 3rd step. Let's go back and talk about it." Ning Cheng's words abruptly paused, before he frowned and asked, "What's the matter with Brother Kong?" His spiritual consciousness instantly sensed that Kong Zai was in the middle of healing, and his injuries were not light. Looking at Kong Zai's appearance, this injury seemed to have been sustained a long time ago. It was Zhu Yinghua. 50,000 years after the Chaos Inner Realm opened, Zhu Yinghua suddenly came to the Grand Essence Realm. She wanted to destroy Grand Essence. In the end, Senior Kong Zai took action and fought with that woman outside the Grand Essence Realm. Unexpectedly, Senior Kong Zai was not that woman's match. Later, Senior Shen Yun arrived in time to help. In the end, the two of them were at a disadvantage against that woman. Chu Manhe hurriedly explained. Although Ning Cheng did not know much about Zhu Yinghua, but he knew that she was an extremely vicious woman. In order to achieve their goals, they would do anything. If she defeated Kong Zai and Shen Yun, she would never leave the Grand Essence Realm behind. What happened next? Ning Cheng knew that the Grand Essence Realm was safe and sound, and Zhu Yinghua should have been blocked. But he still felt some lingering fear in his heart. For Zhu Yinghua to be able to defeat the combined forces of Earth Dao Lord Shen Yun and Dao Lord Human King, her strength must have increased tremendously. The only explanation was that this woman had also obtained great benefits in the chaotic inner realm. Fortunately, Qin Mutian didn't come. If Qin Mutian came, the Grand Essence Realm would have long since ceased to exist. In the 5 Grand Realms, no one could stop Qin Mutian. Ning Cheng made up his mind to improve the Grand Essence Realm no matter what. Then, he would upgrade the Grand Essence Realm's barrier protecting Grand Array once again. Perfecting the Grand Essence Realm lacked balance, so he didn't want to wait any longer. Previously, he had been powerless without the balanced soil, but now that he had succeeded in merging the 2 realms, he could do nothing. Even if he lacked the earth balance, he could still use his supreme Great Tao laws to perfect the Grand Essence Realm. Ning Rulan from the side spoke up. Later on, a very eccentric person arrived. He immediately helped Senior Kong and Senior Shen. Right, big brother, I think I saw Grey Toot Toot. He is on the shoulder of that strange man. It's just that their battle is so intense that I can't see clearly. Rulan, are you sure that it was Grey Toot Toot? Ning Cheng was surprised in his heart, as he quickly asked. Ning Rulan hesitated for a moment before speaking up with some uncertainty. I'm not sure, but I can feel that it was very close to me. However, after that strange person was defeated, Zhu Yinghua chased after him, and the 2 of them never returned. Senior Kong and Senior Shen were both seriously injured in that battle and have been recuperating until today. Rulan, conjure the image of that strange person for me to see. Before leaving the Grand Essence Realm, Kong Zai was the strongest among his friends. Who else was stronger than Kong Zai? Ning Rulan raised her hand and condensed a vague image before saying, this is the senior who helped us. But because the battle's Dao charm was too powerful, I couldn't see it clearly. On the side, Chu Manhao modified the image condensed by Ning Rulan a few times, and the blurry image became slightly clearer. This is Big Brother Tsang Wei. Ning Cheng cried out in excitement. He had wondered who would help the Grand Essence Realm, and it turned out to be Tsang Wei. Tsang Wei must have come to Grand Essence because he heard that he was in Grand Essence Realm. Ning Cheng didn't expect that Tsang Wei would fight Zhu Yinghua before even seeing him. Big brother, do you know this senior who helped us? Ning Rulan quickly asked. Ning Cheng nodded solemnly, yes, not only do I know him, but the reason why I could return to Earth and take you away was also because of Big Brother Tsang Wei's help. I owe him a great debt of gratitude. Ah! Ning Rulan exclaimed and immediately said, that woman went after Big Brother Tsang Wei. Doesn't that mean Big Brother Tsang Wei is in danger? What should we do? Ning Rulan and Ning Cheng both took benevolence very seriously. According to her big brother, if it weren't for Big Brother Tsang Wei, she wouldn't have seen her big brother again in this life. In the true cultivation world, not to mention decades, even tens of thousands of years passed in a blink of an eye. After tens of thousands of years, even if her big brother returned to Earth, she would have already turned into a skeleton. After confirming that it was Tsang Wei who helped, Ning Cheng started to worry. At this time, he was almost sure that the companion beast on Tsang Wei's shoulder was Grey Toot Toot. Grey Toot Toot also knew Tsang Wei. If they met, it would naturally follow Tsang Wei. Big brother Tsang Wei is in danger. I have to save him no matter what. Ao can. Ning Cheng took out a jade box as he spoke. Big brother, please instruct me. Although Ao can didn't speak, Ning Cheng's words were his everything. Ning Cheng handed the jade box to Ao Kan. This is Association Master Lu's body-shaping treasure, the soul-gathering immortal lotus. Help me take it to the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. Also, leave some for Liao Qianluo. His corporeal body was destroyed for the sake of the Grand Change Realm. Big brother, don't worry. I will definitely get this done. After Ao Kan finished, he didn't delay and went straight to the teleportation array. Now that the Grand Essence Realm and the mysterious yellow heavens beyond were connected by several planar teleportation arrays, it wouldn't take a few years to travel back and forth. As soon as Ao Kan left, Ning Cheng quickly stepped forward and said, Brother Kong, your injuries haven't healed yet. Why did you come out? At this time, Kong Zai stepped out of the void of the mysterious yellow sect. However, the Tao charm around his body was scattered, and his strength was far worse than when he first came. Brother Ning, I'm relieved to see you back. My injuries aren't a problem. I didn't know how much worse my injuries were back then, but I still survived. Kong Zai landed in front of Ning Cheng and spoke with a smile. Ning Cheng felt annoyed. Back in the chaotic inner world, he didn't find many top-grade healing treasures. Kong Zai continued, this time, Shen Yun and I had to thank that friend who helped us. Otherwise, the two of us wouldn't have been Zhu Yinghua's opponent. That friend who helped us wasn't any weaker than Zhu Yinghua. But when he helped us, he was already injured, which allowed the three of us to barely block Zhu Yinghua's attacks. Moreover, he brought out the opening heaven talisman to lure Zhu Yinghua away and prevent her from attacking Tai Su. When Ning Cheng heard that Song Wei's strength wasn't any weaker than Zhu Yinghua's, he immediately felt overjoyed. With Song Wei's strength, who could injure Song Wei? Seeing Ning Cheng pondering, Kong Zai spoke again, that Zhu Yinghua should have chased Song Wei for an opening heaven talisman. I don't think it would be easy for Zhu Yinghua to catch up to Song Wei, but I don't have to worry about it. After I recover, I'm going to take a trip to the chaotic inner world with Shen Yun to try my luck and see if I can get some leftovers. Brother Kong, if you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten about it. Ning Cheng quickly took out a ring and swept it with his spiritual sense. Ning Cheng immediately tore open the ring's restriction. He had snatched the fat monk's ring, but because he was with Luofei and Yan Ji, he didn't open the ring to check it. Although he didn't obtain the fat monk's world, most of the things that the fat monk obtained in the chaotic inner world were temporarily stored inside the ring. How long did this fellow plunder in the chaotic inner world? When Ning Cheng saw the things inside the fat monk's ring, he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. It was like another radiant storehouse. Perhaps the top-grade treasures inside might not be as many as the radiant storehouse, but there was nothing bad about it. Heavenly Phoenix Buddha's Eye, Azure Dragon Crystal, Samsara Earth, there were even 2 Primal Chaos Essence fruits, which were top-grade healing treasures. No matter how strong one's cultivation was, as long as one's Tao charm sustained damage to one's life essence, spiritual soul and sea of consciousness suffered heavy damage, one Tao fruit could solve the problem. Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed a Primal Chaos Essence fruit. But before he could hand over the essence fruit to Kong Zai, he was shocked by a small tree nail. He quickly threw the essence fruit to Kong Zai and reached out to grab the tree nail from the ring. This is the creation wood nail. Kong Zai didn't have time to marvel at the Primal Chaos Essence fruit when he saw the tree nail in Ning Cheng's hand and exclaimed. Chapter 1492. Senior Kong, what is a builder wood nail? Ning Rulan asked. Although Ning Cheng and Kong Zai's friendship was not shallow, and they even addressed each other as brothers, Ning Rulan still respectfully addressed Kong Zai as senior. Kong Zai said solemnly, I don't know as much about the creation tree as Tao Lord Earth. Brother Shen is definitely one of the people in this universe who knows the creation tree the best. Brother Shen is already here, let's see what he has to say. Ning Cheng also saw Shen Yun coming over, but Shen Yun did not live in the mysterious yellow sect. However, Ning Cheng did not doubt Kong Zai's words. Shen Yun was a grand Tao Lord. When it came to spiritual objects that grew on the earth, no one was more proficient than the Earth Tao Lord. While Kong Zai spoke, Shen Yun stepped out of the void and cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng. Shen Yun greets Tao Lord Ning. Congratulations on improving your strength. Elder brother Shen, you seem to have escaped from a faraway place. As soon as Shen Yun landed in front of him, Ning Cheng could feel that Shen Yun's aura was somewhat chaotic. Shen Yun was already injured. At this moment, the Tao runes around him were even more chaotic. Shen Yun's expression was slightly awkward as he said, indeed, I met an expert in the void. In a battle, I was actually not a match for him. Fortunately, that guy was also injured, so I escaped all the way back to the Grand Essence realm. Originally. Kong Zai snorted. You wanted to drag me down with you, didn't you? Humph. Shen Yun looked a little embarrassed. Brother Kong, as long as you and I are here, together with Tai Su's protective array, we can definitely block that guy, Kong Zai continued to snort. In your dreams. I won't offend a ruthless person for your trivial matter. Shen Yun chuckled, now that Dao Lord Ning is back, no one will be stupid enough to deal with the Grand Essence realm. Everyone understood what Shen Yun meant. Ning Cheng was in the Grand Essence realm, and anyone who wanted to cause trouble in the Grand Essence realm would only be courting death. Ning Cheng did not care about it. Even if Qin Mutian came, he would not feel any fear. Not to mention a guy who fought with Shen Yun and let Shen Yun escape. He just opened his palm and asked, Brother Shen, thank you for blocking Zhu Yinghua and protecting the Grand Essence realm. May I ask if Brother Shen recognizes this? Before Ning Cheng could finish, Shen Yun exclaimed, Dao Lord Ning, where did you get the creation wood nails? Ning Cheng knew that this nail was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, he had also heard of the name, creation wood. However, he really didn't know the detailed description of the creation wood and the origin of the creation wood nail. I would like to ask Brother Shen to enlighten me, what is this building wood nail? As Ning Cheng spoke, he placed the building wood nail in Shen Yun's hands. Shen Yun held the creation wood nail excitedly and muttered to himself. After a while, he came back to his senses and said, the creation wood is the supreme tree of the five-element universe. It balances all life in the main universe. Legend has it that the world tree grew at the peak of the five elements universe. In the end, Duemo found it. Who is Duemo? Ning Cheng asked. A look of respect appeared in Shen Yun's eyes. In terms of fame and power, the 5 sages and the 10 Dao Lords aren't as famous as Duemo. Duemo has another title, the 5 Elements Divine Lord. 5 Elements Sacred Lord. Ning Cheng immediately thought of Qin Mutian. Qin Mutian was the light and darkness sacred lord. Since Duemo was the 5 Elements Sacred Lord, then he shouldn't be any weaker than Qin Mutian. After Duemo obtained the creation wood, his strength skyrocketed. Almost no one could match his cultivation. However, the news of the creation would also spread out. Later, many powerhouses came looking for Duemo, wanting to divide the creation wood equally. Duemo rejected these people without hesitation. In Duemo's opinion, he didn't need to fear any powerhouses with his strength. However, this refusal led to a huge battle. At this point, Shen Yun raised the builder wood nail in his hand and said, Duemo quickly paid the price for being so domineering. The experts who came looking for Duemo were all supreme level experts with the most powerful treasures. Although Duemo didn't fear any of them in a one-on-one fight, facing so many powerhouses, Duemo's fists couldn't match 4 hands. Under the siege of so many powerhouses, his corporeal body shattered and his spiritual soul collapsed. Shen Yun sighed. In the end, Duemo had to turn the creation wood nail into the creation wood nail to fight against the enemies. Although those powerhouses were powerful, they suffered heavy injuries when they joined forces to deal with Duemo. Under the attack of the creation wood nail, they suddenly collapsed and suffered heavy casualties. A few of them even escaped with heavy injuries. As for the outcome, no one knows. Senior Shen Yun, who besieged the sacred master of 5 elements. Ning Rulan asked. She cared about this ancient past the most. Shen Yun thought about it for a while before speaking, the information I saw wasn't very complete. I only know that one was the Buddhist lord of the Western universe, and the other was the sacred master of the light and dark universe and heavenly venerate Styx River. Ning Cheng secretly marveled in his heart. What kind of powerhouses were fighting for the creation wood? Ning Cheng's strength couldn't compare to these powerhouses. He knew that the sacred master of the light and dark universe that Shen Yun mentioned wasn't Qin Mutian, but the person before Qin Mutian. He had been to the light and dark universe and knew that the reason Qin Mutian could become the sacred master of the light and dark universe was because he killed his original master. Ning Cheng had always wondered about it. It wasn't as if there weren't any slaves who killed their masters, but he could imagine how difficult it was. No matter how good Qin Mutian's qualifications were, no matter how good his opportunities were, he couldn't kill the real sacred master of light and dark universe. But after listening to Shen Yun's words, he finally understood. The reason why Qin Mutian killed the original sacred master of the light and dark universe wasn't because the sacred master was weak, but because the sacred master had suffered serious injuries during the battle with the sacred master of the five elements universe. After the sacred master of light and dark universe suffered serious injuries, he naturally fled back to the light and dark universe to heal. He didn't expect that his slaves would rebel and kill him. As for the Buddhist lord of the Western universe, Ning Cheng had heard of him. The fat monk he had killed earlier was the sixth one under this guy's command. Ning Cheng didn't know if this fellow had recovered. If he hadn't, he would probably become a big scourge in the future. Brother Shen, who is this heavenly venerate Styx River? The only person Ning Cheng hadn't heard of was heavenly venerate Styx River. In ancient Chinese mythology, there was a Styx River ancestor, but Ning Cheng wasn't sure if it was the same person. Even Taoist Purple Firmament and Primal Chaos Tao Lord were somewhat different from the original legends. Shen Yun shook his head, that's all I know. As for the origins of Styx River, Sacred Master of Light and Dark Universe, and that Buddhist Lord of the Western Universe, I don't know anything about them. Ning Cheng didn't ask any more. He took out another Chaos Essence fruit and handed it to Shen Yun. Brother Shen, thank you for helping Brother Kong protect the Grand Essence Realm. I obtained this Essence fruit from the chaotic inner realm. I can use it to heal you. Shen Yun was a Grand Tao Lord. How could he not know about the heaven-defying effects of the Chaos Essence fruit? His eyes lit up with joy, and he quickly thanked Ning Cheng. Many thanks, Tao Lord Ning. I, Shen Yun, am also a Grand Essence person. Anyone who wants to deal with Grand Essence will have to step over my dead body. Shen Yun originally wanted to fuse with the Grand Essence fusion realm. But after seeing Ning Cheng's power, he no longer dared to have such thoughts. In the end, he decided to follow Kong Zai's example and find another way to fuse with the realms. Ning Cheng felt the changes in Shen Yun. He raised his hand and patted Shen Yun. Brother Shen, if you don't mind, we can call each other brothers in the future. In fact, even if you succeed in fusing with a realm, it doesn't have much power. The real fusion realm isn't about fusing with an existing realm, but fusing with your own realm. Shen Yun showed a blank expression. Ning Cheng's words sounded simple, but the path to the Great Tao was extremely complicated. Of course, you can fuse with your own realm, but wouldn't it become weaker and weaker? When you condense your own laws, condense your own realm, and then derive a world within your own realm, you will know how powerful it is. It might be difficult, but there is a way you can try. You can use your own law world to derive your own origin. Then, you can cut off the laws you originally comprehended and use your own origin to derive new laws. This will take a long time, maybe tens of millions of years, maybe tens of millions of years. Ning Cheng patiently explained in detail. Not only Shen Yun, but Kong Zai and the others also listened to Ning Cheng's words. Ning Cheng's words planted a seed in their great Tao. Just as Ning Cheng said, it might not germinate now, but who could be sure that they wouldn't become the next 10 Tao Lords and 5 Sacred Masters after countless years? Many thanks, Brother Ning, for dispelling my doubts. Although Shen Yun didn't quite understand what Ning Cheng said, he believed that as long as he accumulated enough time, one day, he would find the path Ning Cheng spoke of. He was more than happy to address Ning Cheng as brother. Ning Cheng and Kong Zai were good friends, and he and Ning Cheng originally had some gaps between them. But now that Ning Cheng took the initiative to give up these gaps, why would he, Shen Yun, hesitate? Ning Cheng smiled and said, you're welcome. As long as I'm still in the Grand Essence realm, you can discuss any Dao intent you can't understand with me. After that, Ning Qing said to Ning Rulan, take your sister Qianghua back. I want to recondense the Grand Essence realm's laws and perfect it. Dao Lord, did you find balance Earth? Li Feng, who had rushed over after hearing the news, called out in joy when she heard that Ning Qing wanted to perfect the Grand Essence realm. Behind Li Feng were the other court pillars of the Grand Essence Dao Court, as well as the sect masters of the major sects in the Grand Essence realm. Ning Qing quickly stepped forward and greeted Li Feng and the others, many thanks for your hard work in the Grand Essence realm while I was away. I haven't found balance Earth yet, but I have another way. I believe it should work. Ning Qing had to hurry up and repair the Grand Essence realm. He also wanted to heal Qianghua and even find San Wei to help. If he didn't perfect the Grand Essence realm and arrange the realm-protecting Grand Array, he wouldn't be able to leave with peace of mind. Brother Ning, I found balance Earth. While speaking, Shenyun took out a jade box and handed it to Ning Qing. This is balance Earth. Ning Qing took the jade box in surprise. He didn't expect Shenyun to obtain balance Earth, which he had never found. Shenyun smiled, the reason why I was chased is because of this thing. Ning Qing put away the jade box and looked at the void outside the Grand Essence ruins with a slight smile. The person chasing me actually chased me all the way to the Grand Essence realm. Let's go out and have a look. Chapter 1493. After Ning Qing arrived at the void public square outside the Grand Essence realm, a few breaths of time passed before a man in a golden robe landed. The golden-robed man not only had a strong body, but he was also much taller than the average person. When Ning Qing saw this golden-robed man, he immediately thought of a descendant of the Pan clan. The golden-robed man apparently didn't expect so many people to be here. His gaze swept around and then lingered on Ning Qing and Kong Zai for a while. Finally, he fixed his gaze on Shenyun and tried to speak in a calm tone. You're a third-step Dao Lord, yet you actually dared to snatch my balance soil. Don't you have any face? Shenyun snorted, your balance soil. Did you write your name on it? We agreed to take the balance soil together. Since I got the balance soil, why did you take the opportunity to snatch it? You. The golden-robed man suddenly felt angry, and the Dao charm around him fluctuated. It seemed that he was about to attack again. Ning Qing felt the Dao charm aura around the golden-robed man, and his heart moved slightly. This Dao charm felt a bit familiar, and it seemed similar to the mysterious yellow formless Dao charm. Do you really want to win by numbers? In that case, come at me together. No matter how many people there are, Changxiang, am not afraid. The golden-robed man spoke up angrily. After speaking, the imposing aura around him grew even sharper. Ning Qing suddenly realized that this person was Changxiang. He was the first owner of the mysterious yellow bead after mysterious yellow Gaian abandoned it. However, he didn't pass mysterious yellow Gaian's assessment and abandoned the mysterious yellow bead again. Ning Qing didn't expect this fellow to still be alive. It really wasn't an easy task. Dao friend Changxiang, you don't have to be angry. Since you and Dao friend Shenyun discovered this balanced soil together, why don't we split it in half? Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness had already checked the balanced soil in the jade box. Even if it was only 1/3, it would be enough for him to repair the Grand Essence realm. Ah! Changxiang froze. Although he was angry and ready to fight, he also knew that his chances of winning were extremely slim. Not to mention Shenyun and the powerhouse with the aura of an emperor standing next to Shenyun, Changxiang felt that he wasn't this ordinary-looking young man's opponent. He didn't expect this young man to be willing to give him half of the balanced soil. How could he not be willing? Not waiting for Ning Qing to say it a second time, he quickly cupped his fists and spoke, many thanks to this Dao friend, I am willing. Ning Qing did not hesitate to take out the jade box. After opening it, he took out half of the Hanyang soil and threw it to Changxiang. It's because I initially only cultivated my physical body. As for spiritual sense, it's only recently that I started cultivating it. Changxiang tried to ease his tone as much as possible. So you're from the witch race, and you're cultivating the witch race's cultivation method. Ning Qing immediately understood when he heard Changxiang's words. Only those who cultivated the witch race's cultivation method would not cultivate spiritual sense, or had no way to cultivate spiritual sense. It was no wonder that Changxiang could become the strongest person in the mysterious yellow bead apart from mysterious yellow Gaian. Changxiang did not cultivate spiritual sense, which meant that the mysterious yellow bead would think that he had never cultivated. At the same time, Ning Qing also understood where Changxiang's cultivation method for spiritual sense came from. It was definitely obtained from the mysterious yellow bead. Only a creation treasure like the mysterious yellow bead could allow the witch race to obtain the method to cultivate spiritual sense. Changxiang must have passed the method back to the witch race since he had obtained the method to cultivate spiritual sense. No wonder Kai Ji said that the witch race could now cultivate spiritual sense. It turned out that it was because of Changxiang. Changxiang had obtained the method to cultivate spiritual sense through the mysterious yellow bead. Could it be that Kai Ji's old friend had also given Kai Ji the method to cultivate spiritual sense because of the creation treasure? Ning Qing immediately thought of the sacred Dao sect master. Yi Mo had the golden page of fate, so he could naturally do it. Yi Mo came from Earth, so was Kai Ji from Earth? Unfortunately, he did not think of this at the time and did not ask more. Changxiang secretly admired Ning Qing's meticulousness. With just a few words, Ning Qing knew that he was from the witch race. Compared to this person in front of him, Changxiang seemed to be much worse. Changxiang did not admit or deny Ning Qing's words. This was the witch race's secret. Ning Qing guessed it, but he would never say it out loud. Daoist Changxiang, if I'm not wrong, your spiritual sense cultivation method came from the mysterious yellow bead, right? You have courage. After knowing the danger, you abandoned the mysterious yellow bead in time and saved your life, Ning Qing said calmly as he stared at Changxiang. Since he knew that Changxiang was from the witch race, Kai Ji might be his old friend. He wanted to give Changxiang a little warning and not touch Kai Ji. You know about the mysterious yellow bead? Changxiang stared at Ning Qing with wide eyes. Ning Qing opened his hand and a bead filled with the aura of the source appeared in his palm. Mysterious yellow bead? You actually have the mysterious yellow bead? Changxiang stared at the mysterious yellow bead in Ning Qing's hand in disbelief. His heart was pounding. He knew how heaven-defying and powerful the mysterious yellow bead was. Ning Qing kept the mysterious yellow bead calmly. After a while, the greed and desire in Changxiang's eyes gradually disappeared. However, there was still a trace of urgency in the corner of his eyes. Obviously, the mysterious yellow bead was too tempting for him. Dao Lord Ning, I didn't manage to leave the mysterious yellow bead. If I hadn't left a trace of my spiritual sense in the witch race, Changxiang would no longer exist in this world. Changxiang took a deep breath and calmed the strong desire in his heart. Ning Qing nodded. The witch race was a powerful ancient clan. It was normal for them to have treasures that could restore Changxiang's body and cultivation. Dao Lord Ning, you have to be careful of the mysterious yellow Gaian. If the mysterious yellow bead is in your hands. No, the mysterious yellow Gaian definitely knows that the mysterious yellow bead is in your hands. Before Changxiang could finish speaking, Ning Qing waved his hand and said, I'm afraid that he won't come looking for me. If he does, I'll settle the score with him. Dao friend Changxiang, I have a few questions to ask you. Hearing Ning Qing's words, Changxiang sucked in a breath of cold air. Ning Qing wasn't even afraid of the mysterious yellow holy master. From Ning Qing's tone, it was obvious that he had met the mysterious Yellow Holy Master and even fought with him. After fighting with the mysterious Yellow Holy Master, Ning Cheng was still standing here safe and sound. How terrifying was that? In Chang Xiang's eyes, the mysterious Yellow Holy Master was a nightmare, a supreme powerhouse. Ning Cheng didn't even fear such a powerhouse. Chang Xiang suddenly had an idea. He wanted to invite Ning Cheng to the witch race and then help the witch race stand tall in the universe again. Only a powerhouse like Ning Cheng could do such a big thing. Based on his years of experience in the outside world, he knew that the Magi lacked powerful friends. With the idea of asking Ning Cheng, Chang Xiang's tone and actions suddenly became respectful and polite. He bowed to Ning Cheng and said, "Tao Lord Ning, please ask. Chang Xiang will tell you everything he knows." Ning Cheng didn't know what Chang Xiang was thinking, but he could guess that Chang Xiang feared the mysterious Yellow Guyan. "Tao friend Chang Xiang, your witch race is also a big clan. I want to ask you something. Do you know where to enter the Western universe?" Ning Cheng also asked politely. "Western universe?" Chang Xiang was shocked. He immediately cupped his fists and said, "Tao Lord Ning, I only heard that there is a holy Buddha Chu Pu in the Western universe. I don't know much about it. If Tao Lord Ning wants to know more, you can go to my witch race. My race's ancestral emperor will definitely know about it." After answering, Chang Xiang hesitated a little and added, "Tao Lord Ning has amazing spiritual power, so you naturally have nothing to fear. I suggest that Tao Lord not provoke the powerhouses of the Western universe. Their Tao force is completely different from ours and they are very powerful." Ning Cheng nodded. "Thank you, Tao friend Chang Xiang. I naturally won't provoke them. By the way, I heard from my friend that the witch race has a peerless genius woman who is no less than the 5 sacred masters. Is it because she cultivated the spiritual force cultivation technique that you took out?" Chang Xiang's face suddenly showed a proud expression. "You're talking about Fairy Qing, right? She only used the witch race's cultivation technique and obtained the Tao in the witch race's treasure land. In terms of strength, I am far inferior to her." Chapter 1494. Isn't Fairy Qing from the witch race? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. If she was from the witch race, she definitely wouldn't have used the witch race's cultivation method and cultivation place. But if she wasn't from the witch race, how could she obtain a cultivation method from the witch race? Chang Xiang replied respectfully, "Because Ji He, the descendant of my witch race's ancestor Ji, was imprisoned by Sacred Master Green Lotus's child. That woman was vicious and even forced my witch race's disciples to guard the sky pillar. If that woman hadn't been delayed by something and couldn't return to her cave in time, allowing Fairy Qing to find He, I'm afraid that He would still be suppressed under the sky pillar." "Is the woman you're talking about Xing Shi?" Ning Cheng asked immediately. Chang Xiang nodded, "Yes, that vicious woman is Xing Shi. I heard that this woman seized the inheritance of Sacred Master Green Lotus and obtained the good fortune Green Lotus, calling herself Sacred Master Green Lotus. Moreover, she overestimated herself and tried to break through the sky pillar. If the sky pillar was taken away, I'm afraid that the entire 5 elements universe would collapse." "What's Fairy Qing's name?" Ning Cheng clenched his fists and felt a little strange. He thought of Yu Qing. When he escaped from Jiangsha City, Yu Qing was in Jiangsha City. Too many things happened after that, and he never had a chance to find Yu Qing. If Xing Shi found Jiangsha City, she would most likely take Yu Qing away. If Xing Shi took Yu Qing away, then Fairy Qing would most likely be Yu Qing. Her name is Yu Qing, and Xing Shi accepted her as a disciple. Fortunately, Fairy Qing left with He. Otherwise, I'm afraid she wouldn't have been able to escape Xing Shi's clutches." Chang Xiang also felt Ning Cheng's excitement, but he didn't know what was going on. Sure enough, it was Yu Qing. Ning Cheng felt hatred in his heart. He didn't kill Xing Shi in the chaotic void back then. Xing Shi most likely took Yu Qing away to lure him out. At the same time, Ning Cheng also understood why Yu Qing could cultivate so quickly in the witch race. Chang Xiang's spiritual sense cultivation method and the cultivation method he passed to Yu Qing both originated from the good fortune mysterious yellow bead. Coupled with the witch race's top-grade resources and Yu Qing's supreme qualifications, it wasn't surprising for her to progress so quickly. Ning Cheng calmed down the excitement in his heart, cupped his fists, and said, "Dao friend Chang Xiang, I want to repair the Grand Essence Realm. After completing the Grand Essence Realm, I want to go to your clan to visit Sorcerer Ancestor. I wonder if this Dao friend can wait for a while." No matter what, he had to see Yu Qing again. In addition, he wanted to find out more about the Western universe, so he had to make a trip to the witch tribe. Dao Lord Ning wishes to repair a world. Extreme delight immediately appeared on Chang Xiang's face. He had already seen the Grand Essence Realm, and it was definitely a world plane with an incredibly high level of laws in the world. Compared to the place where the Sorcerer Ancestor resided, the laws of the heaven and earth here were stronger. The only thing missing was the fragmented and incomplete Grand Essence Realm's laws. Since Ning Cheng could repair the Grand Essence Realm, it showed how powerful his cultivation and cultivation were. He was born in the witch tribe. Even if he recultivated his spiritual force, it would be impossible for him to repair a world. Now that he could see an expert restoring a top-notch domain, how could he not be happy? This kind of opportunity might not come by in a lifetime. Once they met, it would be an unparalleled opportunity. Ning Cheng cautiously said, "Yes, I do want to repair the Grand Essence Realm." Previously, Dao Lord Shen Yun looked for balanced soil in preparation for me to repair the Grand Essence Realm. Chang Xiang said eagerly, "I'm naturally willing to wait. I wonder if Dao Lord Ning would allow me to watch from the sidelines." He wanted to befriend Ning Cheng and invite him to the witch tribe as a guest. Even if Ning Cheng didn't let him watch how to repair the Grand Essence Realm, he would still wait for Ning Cheng. Now that he had such an opportunity, how could he miss it? Ning Cheng smiled, "Anyone can watch me repair the Grand Essence Realm. Let's go back to Grand Essence Realm." At this time, not only Chang Xiang, but everyone in the Grand Essence Realm was overjoyed. The news that Dao Lord Grand Essence wanted to repair the Grand Essence Realm spread throughout the entire Grand Essence Realm in a few breaths. At this moment, everyone put down what they were doing and waited for Dao Lord Ning to repair the Grand Essence Realm. "Rulan, give me Sister Qianghua." Ning Cheng carefully took Shi Qianghua from Ning Rulan's hands. Qianghua's vitality had returned, but it would take a long time for her to wake up. This time, he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to repair the Grand Essence Realm to give both Qianghua and Grand Essence a new life. When Ning Cheng stood alone in the void of the Grand Essence Realm, the entire Grand Essence Realm turned quiet. Whether it was cultivators or demonic beasts, everyone knew that the biggest event in the history of the Grand Essence Realm was about to happen. As long as the Grand Essence Realm was repaired, they would no longer have to look for a place with more perfect heaven and earth laws to advance or wander the void. Ning Cheng slowly released Qianghua's hands, and Shi Qianghua quietly floated in front of Ning Cheng. Stabilizing soil, releasing soil, gung soil, balance soil, and breath soil, 5 kinds of primal chaos soil, all suspended around Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng formed a series of hand seals, and Dao charms slowly spread out from his body. The 5 soils also began to dissolve slowly. At this time, Ning Cheng took out a drop of 5 elements spirit water. The entire void of the Grand Essence Realm began to rumble. At this time, whether it was the Grand Essence Ruins, Grand Essence Domain, or even the Grand Essence Sea, the laws of heaven and earth began to surge. Ning Cheng shot out a new aura of laws, which quickly merged with the 5 soils and merged with the entire world. It was as if an invisible hand and endless heaven and earth Dao charm had merged the broken and incomplete laws of heaven and earth together, and the 5 elements laws began to perfect. Some of the more powerful cultivators were shocked to discover that the broken and fragmented laws of heaven and earth had suddenly reconnected at this moment. Cultivators with lower cultivation could only feel the laws of heaven and earth more clearly, which made it easier for them to comprehend the Grand Tao. Everyone excitedly felt the changes in the surrounding space. Even some spiritual plants swayed at this moment, frantically looking for an opportunity to grow within the perfect laws of heaven and earth. But this was just the beginning. The moment the laws of heaven and earth became clearer, the Tao charm around Ning Cheng's body grew even richer, and the aura of the Grand Tao grew even more majestic. Just like a newborn baby, the Grand Essence realm started to grow crazily. The mysterious very ancient clan's annual ring suddenly split open and turned into endless life force aura that merged with the entire Grand Essence realm. Ning Cheng also took out the Seven Bridges Realm Book, and the Seven Bridges Realm Book turned into seven vaguely arched bridges. Then, a faintly discernible passage connected to the arched bridges, and the endless Een spirit aura crazily poured into the passage along the seven arched bridges. After the passage, all the laws of the underworld realm began to collapse. Several powerful Een spirits, who wanted to resist the collapse of the laws, turned into powder under Ning Cheng's Tao charm and dissipated without a trace. Amid this collapsing sound, new laws began to emerge. The vast Tao charm of the laws of heaven and earth condensed into seven new bridges in the shortest time. The underworld realm's laws began to take shape, and the Tao charm also began to rumble. The Tao charm aura in Ning Cheng's hands grew more complex and powerful, and the reincarnation passage completely took shape at this moment. The underworld realm also started to condense. Everyone excitedly felt the gradually perfecting laws of heaven and earth around them and felt a clearer perception of the Grand Tao. Some even fantasized about how long they would need to go into seclusion after the laws of heaven and earth in the Grand Essence realm were perfected. The Grand Essence realm would soon be restored, and the entire Grand Essence realm would benefit from it, whether it was human cultivators, demonic cultivators, or spirit plants. Li Feng trembled with excitement. Even though the mysterious very ancient clan had contributed the growth ring, he still couldn't contain the joy in his heart. He didn't expect that this matter would really come true. When Ning Cheng said that he wanted to restore the Grand Essence realm, he just wanted to do his best to help Ning Cheng. No matter whether he succeeded or not, he had no regrets. Just like Ning Cheng said, if he couldn't complete it, he would leave it to his descendants. As long as he kept working hard, one day, the Grand Essence realm would be restored. Now that he was still alive, he had even stepped into the Tao integration realm. Moreover, the Grand Essence realm would also be restored at this time. He no longer had to leave this matter to his descendants. Li Feng finally couldn't hold back the excitement and ecstasy in his heart and knelt on the ground. At this moment, he not only thanked Ning Cheng but also the perfected Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth laws, as well as his lifelong wish and hope for the Grand Essence realm. After Li Feng, one cultivator after another knelt on the ground. Even the demonic beasts of the Grand Essence demon domain all knelt on the ground. Moreover, those seemingly endless spiritual plants also bent down in the direction of Ning Cheng. Heaven and earth laws, combine. Ning Cheng gave a shout, and the entire Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth turned clear. A continuous drizzle fell from the sky, bringing with it a rich fusion of heaven and earth spirit chi. This is the spirit rain formed from the fusion of heaven and earth laws. It's almost equivalent to primal chaos chi. As someone exclaimed, everyone crazily absorbed the fusion of heaven and earth laws from the world's spirit rain. Ning Cheng waved his hand, and the spirit rain essence filled with spiritual aura fell on Shi Qionghua's body. Shi Qionghua's life force grew stronger and stronger, and in less than an incense stick worth of time, Shi Qionghuo opened her eyes. The first thing she saw was Ning Cheng standing in front of her, causing her to burst into tears. But at this time, she had lost her cultivation and couldn't rush into Ning Cheng's arms. Ning Cheng had already reached out and hugged Shi Qionghuo. He then said softly, "Qionghuo, the past is the past. From today onwards, you will no longer have anything to do with the past. Shi Qianghua couldn't even say a word. She just hugged Ning Qing excitedly and cried. When she gave up on cutting off her feelings with Ning Qing, her grand Tao broke, her life force dissipated, and her body turned into a statue. She thought that she would never see Ning Qing again in this life. But even if she had to do it all over again, she would still do the same. If she couldn't miss Ning Qing, then what was the point of living? If the heavenly Tao didn't abandon her, then she would still meet Ning Qing one day. She could even give up on her grand Tao, so what did her past cultivation count for? It was just a fleeting cloud. She only wanted Ning Qing. Chapter 1495. On this day, the entire Grand Essence realm cheered. Ning Qing took Shi Qianghua's hand and landed on the mysterious Yellow Sect's main peak, the mysterious Yellow Peak. After completing the Grand Essence realm, he would immediately rearrange the Grand Essence realm's boundary protecting Grand Array. At this moment, most of the people from the mysterious Yellow Sect and the Grand Essence Tao Court had already arrived here. Li Feng even rushed ahead and spoke up with excitement, "Tao Monarch, you did it. You really did it. You've perfected our Grand Essence realm. Of the 5 great realms, except for the Tai Yi realm, which suffered very little damage and was almost unaffected by the laws of heaven and earth, the other 4 realms suffered varying degrees of damage. But now, only the Grand Essence realm was restored. Everyone knew that it was all thanks to Ning Qing. It's not just me. Everyone has to work together to restore the Grand Essence realm. In a while, I will have to rearrange the Grand Essence realm's protective array, and I will need everyone's help." Ning Qing cupped his fists. Ning Qing didn't act pretentious. After all, this wasn't his work alone. Since he proposed to restore the Grand Essence realm, many people had been working hard to restore the Grand Essence realm. Whether it was the search for the 5 soils or the contribution of the mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan's annual ring tree. Tao Lord Ning, please feel free to instruct us. I believe that everyone, like me, is eager for the Grand Essence realm to be a cultivation holy land. River Luo Sacred Sect Master Wang Huazhong was the first to stand up and express his support. Although he didn't say anything about Ning Qing becoming a Tao Lord, he felt extremely dissatisfied in his heart. But now, he and Ning Qing were already standing on 2 different levels. Ning Qing had repaired the Grand Essence realm. At this moment, he felt nothing but respect and worship for Ning Qing. How many people could do what Ning Qing did? How many people could stand at the same height as Ning Qing in just a few 100,000 years? Okay, I'll ask all the Tao friends who are proficient in array formations to come out with me to arrange the barrier protecting Grand Array. After Ning Qing finished, he stepped out of the Grand Essence realm. Shi Qianghua knew that Ning Qing wanted to complete the Grand Essence realm, so she didn't follow him. Moreover, she didn't have any cultivation now, so she didn't have the ability to follow them. Sister Qianghua, have you recovered? Luofei and Ruolan rushed over almost at the same time and supported Shi Qianghua. Sister Qianghua, Sister Luofei. At this time, Yan Ji walked in from the outside and spoke in a somewhat hesitant tone. Ji Luofei asked in doubt, Sister Ji, what's the matter? 9 revolving sacred Tao Pon Senior Shi Qianqi is here. She wants to see Sister Qianghua. Yan Ji hesitated for a moment, but still spoke up. As for the reason why Shi Qianghua had fallen to this point, Yan Ji was also very clear about it. Ning Ruolan's complexion turned ugly, however, she did not say anything. Ji Luofei quickly spoke up, then I will accompany Sister Qianghua to see Senior Master. Shi Qianghua showed a slight smile and spoke, no need, I will go by myself. Saying that, Shi Qianghua slowly walked out of the main hall. Just as Ning Qing said, the past was already the past, and she had already experienced 10 reincarnations. She used her 10 lives to repay her mother's kindness. At this moment, she had no cultivation, and the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond no longer had anything to do with her. She was related to her husband and everything about her husband. Perhaps she only had one last life left. This was what she left behind to be with her husband, and she would never use it to prove the 9 revolutions of the divine path. Even after Ning Qing repaired the Grand Essence Realm and perfected the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws, the Grand Essence Realm still rumbled. No one worried about this rumbling. As long as one was in the Grand Essence Realm, everyone understood that Tao Lord Ning was rearranging the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting Grand Array. When Ning Qing arranged the boundary protecting Grand Array, it took him many years to perfect it. But at this time, Ning Qing only needed a few people to help him. Then, he could control the entire Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting array foundation. Ning Qing once again put in array flags, and all the people helping out could clearly feel the changes in the laws of space around them. These laws were extremely mysterious and no longer the same as before. One could be sure that if one wasn't proficient in this grand array and tried to attack it with brute force, no matter how powerful one's strength was, they wouldn't be able to break it open. The reason why Ning Qing could arrange such a grand array was because of the tenacity of the chaotic inner realm. Given the tenacity of the chaotic inner realm, even if the 10 Tao Lords joined forces, they wouldn't be able to break it open. In the end, they had to rely on the good fortune indestructible axe. Ning Qing believed that the good fortune indestructible axe wouldn't be bored enough to attack the Grand Essence Realm. When Ning Qing took out a piece of material and refined the entire Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting array core, even Kong Zai and Xinyun exclaimed. "Brother Ning, is this the heaven-opening mother iron?" Xinyun couldn't believe what he saw and asked. "Yes, this is the heaven-opening mother iron." Ning Qing nodded. He now used the heaven-opening mother iron to refine the entire Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting array core. Even if Qin Mutian came, he wouldn't be able to break the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting Grand Array in a hurry. As long as the boundary protecting Grand Array was bombarded, he could tear through all boundaries and return to the Grand Essence Realm in the shortest time possible. Kong Zai and Xinyun sucked in a breath of cold air at the same time. Xinyun even said, "Tao Lord Ning, you used the heaven-opening mother iron to refine the boundary protecting array core." This, Ning Qing naturally understood what Xinyun meant. In Xinyun's opinion, even the entire Grand Essence Realm couldn't compare to this piece of heaven-opening mother iron. Ning Qing calmly said, "My sect, my friends, and my family are all in the Grand Essence Realm. For me, no material is more precious than the Grand Essence Realm." Chasing Bull had found this piece of heaven-opening mother iron. Ning Qing used half of it to refine the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting array core to achieve the same level of toughness as the chaotic inner realm. Although it wouldn't be as good as the chaotic inner realm, it would be more than enough for a realm. Xinyun bowed and said, "Brother Ning, Xinyun has learned a lot. I finally understand why the few of us could only look for opportunities on the periphery when the gate of good fortune first opened and couldn't participate in the real competition. It turns out that our scope is too small, and our Tao insights have too many restrictions." When Ning Qing entered the heaven-opening mother iron's boundary protecting array core, the void around the entire Grand Essence Realm made crackling sounds. A moment later, a mysterious aura surrounded the void around the Grand Essence Realm. Everyone found that the moment Ning Qing closed the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting Grand Array, the entire Grand Essence Realm was enveloped by a powerful law. Even with their spiritual consciousness, they couldn't penetrate it anymore. As the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protecting Grand Array closed, Ning Qing's voice resounded throughout the entire Grand Essence Realm. The Grand Essence Realm's laws have been restored, and the boundary protecting Grand Array has been perfected. From now on, you must use the Grand Essence Tao Quartz Identity Tao Talisman to enter and exit the Grand Essence Realm. I wish you all the best in the Grand Essence Realm in the future and reach a higher level. Many thanks, Tao Lord Ning. I will remember Tao Lord's teachings. Countless thanks came from all corners of the Grand Essence Realm, and each person who thanked him spoke with sincerity. Ning Cheng had truly contributed to the Grand Essence realm without asking for anything in return. Unfortunately, Ning Cheng didn't cultivate the Karma Dao technique. Otherwise, he would have received countless karma and hope powers. Dao Lord Ning, when are we leaving? After seeing Ning Cheng's earth-shattering means, Chang Xiang's respect for Ning Cheng grew. At the same time, he also hoped that Ning Cheng could go to the witch race as soon as possible. It would be best if he could reach an agreement with the witch race and help them return to the center of the universe. Wait for me to explain some things. Although the Grand Essence realm had been repaired and the Grand Essence realm's protective Grand Array had been rearranged, Ning Cheng still wanted to take Luofei and the others with him. It's just that the Grand Essence realm had been perfected. It would be better for Yan Ji and Luofei to stay in the Grand Essence realm and cultivate rather than following him around. If their cultivations were lower, staying in the mysterious yellow bead would be better than cultivating in the Grand Essence realm. But whether it was Yan Ji, Luofei, or even Rulan, they had all stepped into the second step. Staying in the perfected Grand Essence realm to cultivate would be much better than cultivating in the mysterious yellow bead. Besides, the mysterious yellow bead didn't have all kinds of natural laws of the human Tao. As for his own realm, it hadn't been perfected yet. In fact, even if it was perfected, Ning Cheng didn't intend to let Luofei and the others enter it to cultivate. What's more, the Grand Essence realm had just been repaired, which made it the most suitable place for cultivation and enlightenment. Ning Cheng was sure that countless people would advance in the Grand Essence realm in the near future. At this time, Ning Cheng wanted to explain some family matters. Therefore, everyone consciously chose not to follow him. Luofei, Sister Ji. Before Ning Cheng could say anything, Ji Luofei took the initiative to speak up. Husband, go ahead. The Grand Essence realm has just been perfected. It's better for me to stay here. Brother, you don't know yet, but Sister Luofei is pregnant. Rulan spoke up before Ning Cheng could. Ning Cheng happily hugged Luofei. The higher one's cultivation, the more stagnant one's great Tao would be for a long time after becoming pregnant. After Luofei became pregnant, she didn't tell him because she was afraid that he would worry about her if he went out. Luofei, thank you for leaving me the inheritance. Although Luofei said that she wanted to have a child when she returned to the Grand Essence realm with him. But now that Ning Cheng faced it for real, he realized the difference between having an inheritance and struggling alone. Husband, you can go with Sister Qianghua. I'll stay and take care of Sister Luofei. Although Luofei didn't need to be taken care of now, Yan Ji decided to stay. She didn't want to take advantage of the newly restored Grand Essence realm to reach a higher level. Instead, she wanted to leave all of Ning Cheng's time with Sister Qianghua. Sister Qianghua had lost her cultivation, so she naturally needed to take care of her. Shi Qianghua suddenly spoke up, Husband, why are you going out this time? Ning Cheng naturally didn't hide it. In addition to going to the witch clan to ask about the situation in the Western universe, I also want to see an old friend. In addition, I also want to help Big Brother Tsang Wei. Zhu Yinghua is a cunning woman, and I'm afraid that Big Brother Tsang Wei will suffer a loss in her hands. Ning Cheng's worries weren't without reason. Tsang Wei was seriously injured and chased by Zhu Yinghua. Although Tsang Wei was a shrewd person, Zhu Yinghua's schemes were too powerful. In case Tsang Wei suffered a loss in Zhu Yinghua's hands, it would be too late for him to kill Zhu Yinghua. Husband, whether it's the Western universe or that Zhu Yinghua, none of them are ordinary people. The Grand Essence realm has just been restored and is the best place for cultivation. Now that I've lost my cultivation, it's best for me to stay here. I believe that husband will come back soon. After Shi Qianghua rejected Shi Qianqi's offer to return to the Nine Revolutions sacred Dao Pond, everything in her heart was for Ning Cheng. Now that she had lost her cultivation, not only could she not help Ning Cheng, but she would also become a burden. Staying in the recently restored Grand Essence realm to restore her cultivation was the best option. Didn't her husband say that if two people's feelings lasted for a long time, how could they stay together day and night? Chapter 1496. Dao Lord Ning, I have a locale ball to the witch clan. Should I lead the way, or? Chang Xiang said respectfully as soon as he came out of the Grand Essence Realm's defense array. Chang Xiang's meaning was that if Ning Qing took him away, then their speed would definitely be a lot faster. At the very least, he had invited Ning Qing to be his guest. Naturally, he could not ask Ning Qing to take him away. Shi Qianghua, Luofei, and the others decided to stay in the Grand Essence Realm. Since the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws had just been restored, staying in the Grand Essence Realm to cultivate was naturally the best choice. What's more, the Grand Essence Realm's Boundary Protection Grand Array had already been set up, and the array heart of the Boundary Protection Grand Array was refined from the heaven-opening Mother Iron. Furthermore, Kong Zai, Shen Yun, Ao Kan, Xiao Xinxi, and a few other third-step experts were protecting him. Even if Qin Muqian came, it would not be easy to open it in a short time. If he had the time, he would have already received the news and returned. Taking a step back, how many people in the entire universe were as ruthless as Qin Muqian? Because of this, Ning Qing felt relieved to let Shi Qianghua and the others stay in the Grand Essence Realm to cultivate. It's not that he didn't think about building a channel between his realm and the Grand Essence Realm. But Shi Qianghua rejected the idea as soon as it was put forward. Although Shi Qianghua had lost her cultivation, she was only a step away from reaching the third step. She naturally knew that Ning City's domain was not yet stable, and it was not a good thing to establish a void passage between their own domain and the outside world. Not only would it make his own realm more unstable, but it would also be very dangerous when he teleported across the void. Daoist Chang Xiang, there's no hurry to go to the witch tribe. I have something more important to do. Ning Qing said. If you want to go there, I don't have much to do. I'm willing to accompany you. Chang Xiang hurriedly said. His main task was to bring an expert like Ning Qing back to the witch tribe as a guest and build a good relationship with Ning Qing. Why were the wizard tribe chased away like drowning dogs? Was the sorcerer tribe weak? Definitely not. Back then, the sorcerer tribe had countless experts. Even if they did not cultivate their spiritual force, they were still one of the strongest tribes in the entire universe. The most important reason why the witch tribe had fallen to such a state was that they had no friends. If the sorcerer tribe had had the help of their friends back then, the sorcerer tribe would not have fallen to this state. After leaving the sorcerer tribe for countless years, Chang Xiang understood this principle better than anyone else in the tribe. In the past, people from the sorcerer tribe had looked down on those who cultivated their divine will. Now, the sorcerer tribe had also begun to cultivate their divine will. The place I'm going to is called the Black Water World. I'm going there to find someone. Ning Qing did not hide anything. There would be a life-and-death battle between him and Xing Shi sooner or later. Although he had fused with the primordial Dao runes, Xing Shi would definitely be able to obtain them and fuse with them. After that, it was hard to say who was stronger and who was weaker. Xing Shi's fatal weakness was that the green lotus of good fortune had yet to be perfected. Now that he was free, he naturally wanted to take this opportunity to take the green lotus of good fortune from Chu Wujian. Having another card in his hand was always a good thing. Dao Lord Ning, I've heard of the Blackwater World. I'll accompany you there. Chang Xiang was indeed a person who had seen the world in the void. As soon as Ning Qing mentioned the Blackwater World, he immediately understood. Ning Qing brought out the starry sky wheel and said, in that case, come on up. After Chang Xiang boarded the starry sky wheel, the starry sky wheel cut through the void and disappeared from the periphery of the Grand Essence Realm. Ning Qing feared that he couldn't find the Blackwater World because his strength was too low. At this time, Ning Qing had reached the third step through cutting Dao creation, and then used the primordial Dao runes to merge with the world. His strength had already reached the peak of this universe. Although the Blackwater world was hidden, he no longer needed Xiao Xinshi to lead the way. With his spiritual consciousness, he could directly pass through several positional planes and find traces of the Blackwater world's movement. Then, he could directly chase after it. A few days later, Ning Cheng and Chang Xiang stopped. In front of them was a void filled with rolling black mist. The two waited for less than an incense stick worth of time before a huge black planet quickly appeared in the range of their spiritual consciousness. Chang Xiang stood up and prepared to follow Ning Cheng into the Blackwater world. Although the black water in the Blackwater world was highly toxic and had a terrifying spatial compression. But with Chang Xiang's cultivation, he didn't care about these things. When the huge black planet quickly passed by in front of the two, Ning Cheng still didn't move. Chang Xiang looked at Ning Cheng with some doubt and asked, "Dao Lord Ning, we just passed by the Blackwater planet." Ning Cheng nodded and said with a solemn tone, "I know, but we don't have to go now. Let's go to the witch clan now." "Okay, I'll show the way," Chang Xiang said with joy. For him, the Blackwater world was just an accompaniment for Ning Cheng. If Ning Cheng didn't want to delay, then he wouldn't have any objections. Ning Cheng indeed didn't want to delay. When his spiritual consciousness fell on the Blackwater world's planet, he knew that Chu Wujian wasn't there. Chu Wujian had a fragment of the good fortune azure lotus, but he didn't stay in the Blackwater world. The biggest possibility was that Xing Shi had found Chu Wujian. Ning Cheng had seen Chu Wujian's strength and knew that he was quite strong. But compared to Xing Shi, Chu Wujian still fell far short. Moreover, after Xing Shi merged with the primordial Dao runes to merge with the world, the gap would only worsen. From the bottom of his heart, Ning Cheng didn't want Xing Shi to find Chu Wujian. If it was as he guessed and Xing Shi found Chu Wujian, it meant that Xing Shi's good fortune azure lotus was about to be perfected. Once the good fortune azure lotus was perfected, the gate of good fortune would open. The reason why the gate of good fortune hadn't opened yet was that Xing Shi deliberately didn't perfect the azure lotus. She was waiting for an opportunity to control the opening of the gate of good fortune. It would be best if Chu Wujian found another way to hide the aura of the good fortune azure lotus and leave the Blackwater world. Ning Cheng also knew that this was just his wishful thinking. "Dao Lord Ning, if I came back by myself, it would take at least a few years." When Ning Cheng brought Chang Xiang to the outside of the witch realm in just a month, Chang Xiang couldn't help but speak up. He was sure that if Ning Cheng hadn't brought him along, they would have arrived in the witch realm in a shorter time. If Ning Cheng hadn't brought Chang Xiang along, he would have torn the void by himself and would have arrived in just a few days. If he left the witch realm and returned to the Grand Essence realm, he would have taken even less time by tearing the domain's plane. Dao friend Chang Xiang has amazing potential. You've just started cultivating spiritual sense. In the future, Dao friend Chang Xiang will definitely be able to do the same. Ning Cheng spoke modestly. His spiritual consciousness had been observing the surroundings of the witch realm. The witch realm could be said to be at the edge of the five-element universe. Beyond that was a dark void without any rules. One couldn't cultivate in such a place. Even if there were some planets, it was uninhabitable. It was no wonder that Chang Xiang was so eager to return to the center of the universe. The witch clan was struggling at the edge of the realm, which greatly limited their development. "Dao Lord Ning, I'll take you to the divine Magus Palace to see the witch realm's ancestor emperor." While speaking, Chang Xiang had already stepped into the witch realm with Ning Cheng. "Chang, who is he?" As soon as Ning Cheng and Chang Xiang stepped into the witch realm, a person landed in front of them. Chang Xiang quickly said, "Xian Ping, this is Dao Lord Ning Cheng from the Grand Essence realm. He's a guest that I specially invited. Don't be rude." Then, Chang Xiang introduced Xian Ping to Ning Cheng. "Dao Lord Ning Cheng, Xian Ping is a general under the witch realm's ancestor emperor. Because I don't know you, I'm a little rude. Please forgive me." Hearing Chang Xiang's respect for Ning Cheng, Xian Ping frowned. He knew Chang Xiang's pride because he was the only witch clan member who had gone out to see the world and participated in the first battle of the Gate of Good Fortune. Therefore, Chang Xiang had the right to be proud. Who was this Tao Lord Ningqing? What kind of small place was the Grand Essence Realm? Why did Chang Xiang treat him with such respect and even bring him to see the Ancestor Emperor? Chang Xiang, I'm afraid it's against the rules for you to bring a stranger to the Ancestor Emperor. Xian Ping didn't step aside because of Chang Xiang's words. He even changed the way he addressed Chang Xiang to his full name. Clearly, Chang Xiang was very polite to such a young guy, which made him very dissatisfied. Moreover, Ning Cheng's strength made him a little afraid. Before figuring out the origin of such an expert, he absolutely couldn't go to the Ancestor Emperor. Chang Xiang's face sank. Xian Ping really didn't give him any face. Did he think it was easy for him to invite Tao Lord Ningqing? Brother Xian, Brother Chang Xiang, who is this? Just as the two were in a deadlock, a clear voice sounded. Chapter 1497. Hey, you're here at the right time. Chang Xiang smiled when he saw the woman. Just like him, Ji Hei had seen the outside world of the shaman tribe. Although her cultivation level was not as high as Xian Ping's, she was much more knowledgeable. If Ji Hei was here, she would definitely be on his side. Ning Cheng had heard about Ji Hei from Chang Xiang. Yu Qing had escaped from Xing Shi's cave abode because of Ji Hei. Now that he heard Chang Xiang call her Hei, he immediately asked, Daoist Chang Xiang, is she Ji Hei? Xing Shi brought her to the heaven-suppressing pillar. Chang Xiang quickly replied, yes, she is Ji Hei, the descendant of ancestor Ji. Brother Chang Xiang, what's going on? Ji Hei looked at Chang Xiang and Xian Ping in confusion before looking at Ning Cheng. After saying this, Ji Hei's expression also became a little grave. She had been with Xing Shi for a long time and could feel that Ning Cheng was very powerful. He might even be stronger than Brother Chang Xiang. Where did Brother Chang Xiang find such an expert? Hey, Chang Xiang brought an unfamiliar cultivator to see the Ancestor Emperor, but I stopped him. This doesn't conform to the rules at all. If anyone can meet the Ancestor Emperor, then wouldn't our sorcerer tribe become a low-level market? Xian Ping did not give him any face at all. There was still a trace of anger in his words. Ji Hei frowned slightly. Brother Chang Xiang, this is indeed against the rules. Chang Xiang did not expect Ji Hei to say the same. He immediately said angrily, Hey, why do you say that? Don't you know that the witch tribe hides in a corner? Besides potential, we also lack friends. Tao Lord Ningqing is a friend I invited. Don't be so suspicious of friends. Ji Hei slowed down and said, Brother Chang Xiang, I know you're right. But have you forgotten the two people who came to the witch realm? They said they were friends of the witch tribe when they came, but what happened? Chang Xiang snorted and said, that Yi Zifeng looks like a cunning person. How can he compare to Tao Lord Ning? I've been to Tao Lord Ning's realm and he was very polite to me. Now that I've invited Tao Lord Ning to my witch tribe as a guest, your suspicions are really disappointing and a joke to our guests. Under Chang Xiang's anger, these words were directly spoken out in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng waved his hand, motioning Chang Xiang not to get angry. He then cupped his fists towards Ji Hei and said, Tao friend Hei, I heard from Tao friend Chang Xiang that Xing Shi plotted against you, and you ended up sacrificing yourself to the heaven-suppressing pillar. Without waiting for Ning Cheng to finish, Ji Hei spoke up, that's right. Xing Shi did send me to the heaven-suppressing pillar as a sacrifice. However, it wasn't an ambush. I wasn't her match at all, and she easily took me away. Ning Cheng had to ask again, I heard that you came out because of a woman called Yu Qing. I would like to ask where Yu Qing is now. Do you want to see Ancestor Emperor or Yu Qing? Ji Hei was only a little vigilant towards Ning Cheng, but when she heard Ning Cheng mention Yu Qing, her expression no longer remained vigilant, but turned into one of intense wariness. Ning Qing said politely, Yu Qing and I are friends, and I came here mainly to see her. At the same time, I am also very grateful for Dao friend Chang Xiang's enthusiasm. I want to become friends with the witch race, so I also want to meet Ancestor Emperor Witch. Chang Xiang wanted Ning Qing to become a friend of the witch race. Ning Qing said this to express his friendship, and also to achieve his goal of meeting Ancestor Emperor Witch race in a tactful way. Ji He glanced at Chang Xiang with some dissatisfaction before saying to Ning Qing, Dao friend Ning, I'm afraid it won't go as you wish. Sister Qing is now in seclusion, and she won't see anyone. If it weren't for Yu Qing, Ji He wouldn't have been able to restore her body. She might still be chained to the heaven-suppressing pillar by Xing Shi. Moreover, she knew from Yu Qing that Yu Qing didn't have any relatives who were as powerful as Ning Qing. There should only be one reason why Dao Lord Ning came to see Yu Qing, and that was because he heard about Yu Qing's beauty. Then, he used his strength to befriend Ancestor Witch and take Yu Qing as his dual cultivation Dao companion. Ning Qing looked at Chang Xiang. If it weren't for Chang Xiang, his spiritual consciousness would have directly penetrated all the restrictions of the witch race that blocked spiritual consciousness. Sha Sun is here to see Dao friend Hong. Chang Xiang was just about to speak when a deep voice came over. Everyone present heard it clearly. After hearing this voice, whether it was Xian Ping, Chang Xiang, or Ji He, they all revealed cautious expressions. Then, Xian Ping said to Chang Xiang, I'll report to Ancestor Emperor. You go and stop this person. Ji He stopped Xian Ping. There's no need to report. This person's voice can probably be heard by the entire witch world. Ancestor Emperor will naturally know. Ning Qing didn't speak. He was just wondering what this Sha Sun had to do with the fat monk he killed in the chaotic inner realm. In fact, even before Sha Sun spoke, Ning Qing already knew that this person had come. He also knew that this person's Dao charm aura was somewhat similar to that of the fat monk. Xian Ping, Chang Xiang, you two come with me to see Dao friend Sha Sun. An extremely old man's voice fell. Grandfather. Ji He quickly stepped forward when she saw this old man. The old man nodded to Ning Qing before smiling at Ji He. Hey, this Dao friend is a guest from afar. Take him to the guest hall to have a seat. Yes. Ji He didn't dare to slack off in front of this old man and quickly responded. Before Chang Xiang left, he said to Ning Qing, Dao Lord Ning, this is my witch race's ancestor Ji. We're going to see Dao friend Sha Sun. We'll be back in a while. Dao friend Ning, please forgive us. Ning Qing smiled. It's fine. Dao friend Chang Xiang, please go ahead. He could guess that this Seisan who spoke had an extraordinary background. Otherwise, Chang Xiang wouldn't have left him alone to see Sha Sun since he was a guest specially invited by Chang Xiang. One had to know that Chang Xiang knew that he had fought against the mysterious yellow holy master and even had the mysterious yellow bead. This Sha Sun's aura was similar to that of the fat monk. It was very likely that he was someone from the Western universe. Dao friend Ning, please. Ji He made a guiding gesture to Ning Qing. Her tone was flat without much enthusiasm. Apparently, she was doing this because of Ancestor Ji's instructions. Ning Qing didn't care and just asked, who is this Sha Sun? Ji He didn't hide anything from Ning Qing and said indifferently, I don't know. I only know that he's from the Western universe. Now you can say it. Why are you looking for Sister Qing? If you have other ideas, please leave my witch race as soon as possible. Although my witch race lives in a remote corner, it's not a place that anyone can bully. You won't believe what I say. You just have to call Yu Qing to meet me or take me to see her. She'll naturally tell you who I am. With Ji He's attitude, Ning Qing knew that no matter how much he tried to explain, it would be useless. Ji He didn't even bother to reply to Ning Qing and just walked ahead. Ning Qing felt helpless. Yu Qing was indebted to the witch race. He couldn't just fight his way in, right? He could only wait for Chang Xiang to come back and explain to her. After half an incense stick's time, Ji He brought Ning Qing to a guest hall. She then poured Ning Qing a cup of spirit tea and sat on the side, staring at Ning Qing. Although she was accompanying him in name, she was actually monitoring him. Ning Qing wasn't in a hurry. Since he had come to the witch race, he would eventually be able to see Yu Qing. If the witch race really wanted to stop him from seeing Yu Qing, he could only use force. Another incense stick's time passed, but there was still no news of Chang Xiang. Ning Qing stood up. Before he could say anything, Ji He also stood up. Dao friend Ning, are you leaving? Let me send you out. Ning Qing frowned. Before he could speak, another clear voice came, Xing Shi is here to look for someone. Please come out and meet her, Dao friend Hong. Ka, Ning Qing clenched his fists together, producing a burst of Dao charm sounds. This was really wearing out iron shoes in fruitless search, but this woman came looking for him. He didn't even need to ask to know why Xing Shi was here. It was 100% for Yu Qing. Apart from that, she also wanted to take Yu Qing away to threaten him. Sure enough, after Ji He heard Xing Shi's name, her face suddenly turned pale. She even forgot to stop Ning Qing from leaving. Sacred Lord Green Lotus, the witch race's ancestral emperor, is at the divine Magus Palace. Please follow me. A witch race woman had already come out to greet her. Although Xing Shi had captured Ji He as a sacrifice to the heaven-suppressing pillar, the witch race still didn't dare to offend this woman. This woman was too strong, so strong that she could fight against the entire witch race alone. Xing Shi's face was cold. She stepped on the green lotus petal and said expressionlessly, in that case, lead the way. Dao friend Ning, please wait. Ji He finally reacted and hurriedly stopped Ning Qing, who had already walked to the door. Ning Qing stopped. Ji He was indeed rescued by Yu Qing, but Yu Qing was also rescued by Ji He. Moreover, he didn't want to make things difficult for the witch race. If Ji He was willing to lead the way, he wouldn't have to break into the divine Magus Palace by himself. That would be for the best. Are you really Sister Qing's friend? To Ning Qing's surprise, Ji He asked a question that had nothing to do with Ning Qing. Ning Qing nodded and said with certainty, that's right, I'm really Yu Qing's friend. If you don't believe me, you can take me to see Yu Qing. I believe you. Let's go, I'll take you to see Sister Qing. Hurry up and follow me. With that, Ji He had already walked far away. Others might not know how powerful Xing Shi was, but she knew all too well. Even the number one expert of the witch race, Ancestor Di Hong, might not be a match for Xing Shi. Now that Xing Shi had come to the witch race, she must be looking for her and Yu Qing. This Dao Lord Ning in front of her did not look weak. If he really knew Sister Qing, she would let him secretly take Yu Qing out of the witch race. Otherwise, the witch race would definitely hand Yu Qing over. Once they did, Yu Qing would suffer a fate worse than death. This was the reason why Ji He changed her mind at the last minute and wanted to take Ning Qing to see Yu Qing. Chapter 1498. Holy Lord Green Lotus, please. Before Xing Shi reached the entrance of the divine Magus Palace, Ancestor Ji came out to welcome her. The green lotus under Xing Shi's feet turned into a green mist and circled around her. Then, she casually stepped into the divine Magus Palace. Ancestor Ji's expression didn't change, but he was overjoyed. No matter how strong Xing Shi was, the divine Magus Palace wasn't a place she could casually enter and exit. Holy Lord Green Lotus, it's our honor to have you graced us with your presence. A middle-aged man greeted her with a bright voice. This middle-aged man's black hair was tied to his shoulders, and his aura was solid. He was like a huge mountain, giving off a steady aura. Xing Shi stopped, glanced at this middle-aged man, and said blandly, "You must be the ancestor of the divine Magus Di Hong, right? You live up to your reputation." The middle-aged man laughed. "Compared to Sacred Lord Green Lotus, my reputation is far inferior. It's not even worth mentioning." Xing Shi sneered. How could she not understand what Hong was implying? The Sacred Lord Green Lotus that Hong was talking about might not necessarily be her. There was a hidden meaning in his words, and it was full of sarcasm. Xing Shi said blandly, "Thank you, Ancestor Hong, for thinking highly of me. My strength is nothing in the Divine Magus Palace. I heard that the Divine Magus Palace is one of the 3 supreme treasures of the Divine Magus Palace. I hope Ancestor Hong won't hide it from me and show it to me." After saying that, Xing Shi walked past Hong Zhu to the seat of honor in the hall and was about to sit down. Ancestor Di Hong and Ancestor Ji's faces turned ugly when they heard what Xing Shi said. They thought that Xing Shi entering the Divine Magus Palace meant that the Divine Magus Palace had a weakness. They didn't expect that she knew what this place was and walked in without hesitation. She clearly didn't take the Divine Magus Palace seriously. In the Divine Magus Palace, a few powerful Wu clan warriors stood up as well. A monk, who was wearing a huge string of prayer beads on his chest, saw Xing Shi walking in, and his eyes instantly shone. He stood up as well, walked towards Xing Shi, cupped his hands and said, "Greetings, goddess. Sha Sun, may I know your name?" He had come for Yu Qing, but he didn't expect to see a woman who didn't look any weaker than Yu Qing. This woman was simply perfect. If she and Yu Qing were to be brought back, then Saisen was even imagining how others would envy him. At this moment, he just wanted to laugh out loud. What Sacred Lord Green Lotus? It wasn't like Sha Sun hadn't seen Sacred Lord Green Lotus before. Are you a disciple of the Western Cosmos Holy Buddha Chu Pu? If an ordinary person dared to look at her like this, Xing Shi would have already blasted him with a Green Lotus Tao radiance. However, she did not dare to offend the Western Universe's sage Buddha Chu Pu. Saisen hurriedly said, "That's right, I'm the 4th under the Holy Buddha." Xing Shi nodded. "So it's a revered person beneath the Holy Buddha. I've heard a lot about you." While speaking, Xing Shi waved her hand, and a terrifying Tao rune pressure surged towards Sha Sun. Just as Saisen was about to speak again, he felt a terrifying aura suppressing him, making it difficult for him to even breathe. In the blink of an eye, Xing Shi had already walked to her seat and sat down. Saisen sucked in a breath of cold air. This woman was too powerful. He was sure that he was no match for this woman. If the two of them fought, he would definitely pay a heavy price. Given his current strength, it would be too difficult for him to reach the height of this woman in front of him. The reason this woman had made him retreat was not because she was afraid of Saisen, but because of the Western Buddha behind him. At this thought, Seisen's expression changed a few times before he sat down silently. Forget it. With this woman called Yu Qing around, this trip was not in vain. This scene had happened in a very short time, but everyone who could sit there was a supremacy expert of the witch race. Ancestor Di Hong and Ancestor Ji had clearly seen the action between Saisen and Xing Shi, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Even an arrogant fella like Saisen did not dare speak nonsense in front of this woman. Yu Qing is far inferior to her. Ancestor Ji sent a voice transmission to Ancestor Di Hong somewhat dispiritedly. The witch race had always treated Yu Qing kindly. Apart from being Ji Hei's savior, the most important thing was Yu Qing's strength. After Yu Qing had attained the 3rd step, they had always thought that she would not be much weaker than Xing Shi, who had taken away He. Now, it seemed like they had been wishful thinking. Yu Qing's strength and Xing Shi's were not on the same level at all. Ancestor Di Hong's heart sank. If he could not protect Yu Qing, he would do everything he could to protect He. Xing Shi's strength had indeed far exceeded his expectations. It was no wonder that she was not afraid of the Divine Magus Palace. Sacred Lord Green Lotus and Supremacy Saison are both distinguished guests of the witch race. Ancestor Di Hong changed his strategy instantly. He could not offend an expert like Xing Shi, at least not now. The witch race had just started cultivating their spiritual force. As long as they were given time, they would eventually be able to produce experts who were not inferior to Xing Shi. Before Ancestor Di Hong could finish speaking, Xing Shi raised her hand and waved, interrupting him. Daoist Hong, I'm here to take Yu Qing away. As for being a guest, we can naturally talk about it after I see her. Ancestor Di Hong was secretly angry and slightly relieved when he heard Xing Shi's words. Xing Shi had only said that she wanted to take Yu Qing away, not he. This meant that there was still room for negotiation. If Xing Shi wanted to take Ji He away, the witch race would not agree no matter what. There would definitely be a huge battle. Ancestor Ji knew very well what Hong was thinking. Xing Shi was so powerful, and the witch race's strength was rising. It was not a wise move to fight with an expert like Xing Shi over an outsider. However, for the sake of the witch race's reputation, they could not just do whatever Xing Shi said. I wonder who Yu Qing and Sacred Lord are. Ancestor Ji asked despite knowing the answer. When the experts of the witch race heard Ancestor Ji's words, they lowered their heads in shame and anger. Xing Shi had taken the disciples of the witch race away as sacrifices to the sky-suppressing pillars. Now that she was here, the witch race was not thinking about revenge, but worried that she would take Ji He away again. What could be more sullen and humiliating than this? Xing Shi knew what Ancestor Ji meant. She did not want to fall out with the witch race for the time being. The Gate of Destinies was about to open, and she did not want to waste any energy for anything. She did not put the witch race in her eyes, but she would definitely suffer some losses if she wanted to exterminate the witch race. Moreover, Reverend Saison, the fourth of the Western Universe's Buddha Lord, was here. She did not know what relationship he had with the witch race. Yu Qing is my disciple. Because of some misunderstandings with me, I want to bring her back after I come out of seclusion, Xing Shi said calmly. Ancestor Ji revealed a look of realization and said, so that's the case. That's naturally not a problem. Xian Ping, go and call Yu Qing over. Yes. Xian Ping immediately walked out. Chang Xiang hurriedly said, Emperor Ancestor Ji, Yu Qing is. Ancestor Ji naturally knew what Chang Xiang wanted to say. He waved his hand and stopped Chang Xiang's words. Chang, don't interfere in other people's family matters. Sacred Lord Green Lotus is extremely powerful, so there is naturally no need for you to say anything. Chang Xiang seemed to have thought of something and did not say anything. After all, he had not seen the battle between Ning Cheng and Sacred Lord Black Yellow. He was just guessing to Ning Cheng. Moreover, he did not know how much cultivation Sacred Lord Black Yellow had left. If Ning Cheng was far from being able to defeat Sacred Lord Green Lotus, wouldn't he be leading the witch race to the abyss if he wholeheartedly helped Ning Cheng? Although Chang Xiang was willing to make a friend like Ning Cheng from the bottom of his heart, he still stood on the witch race's side when it came to the fate of the witch race. Just now, when Sacred Lord Green Lotus raised her hand, that Dao rune aura suppressed Sha Sun. Even Dao Lord Tai Su and Ning Cheng would not be able to achieve such strength. Sacred Lord Green Lotus, Dao Friend Hong, I came to the witch race for Yu Qing. Even if Sha Sun was not Xing Shi's opponent, he had to speak up. Otherwise, if Xing Shi took Yu Qing away the moment she arrived, what else could he say? I can't touch you, Sacred Lord Green Lotus, but I can't even take Xing Shi away now. I, Sha Sun, am not as good as you, but I am also the fourth under the Western cosmos. Hearing Sha Sun's words, Ancestor Di Hong and Ancestor Ji looked at each other and fell silent. They could not wait for Sha Sun, Sacred Lord Green Lotus, and Xing Shi to fight. Xing Shi's gaze fell on Sha Sun, and she said slowly, You want to take my disciple back to be a human cauldron? Sha Sun frowned. What human cauldron? I sincerely admire Fairy Yuqing and want to become Tao companions with her so that we can support each other. I, Sha Sun, am the fourth under the Buddha Lord. How can I do something like a human cauldron? Xing Shi did not get angry. Instead, she smiled. That's my fault, Tao friend Sha Sun. Yuqing is my disciple. Even if you want to become Tao companions with Qing, it's not too much for me to ask about it, right? Even if you become husband and wife in the secular world, the woman has to investigate the man's current situation. Sha Sun looked at Xing Shi in confusion. What did Sacred Lord Green Lotus mean? Did she agree to let me become Tao companions with Yuqing? Otherwise, why would she say that? Of course it's not too much. I hope Sacred Lord Green Lotus can fulfill my wish. Sha Sun instantly reacted. Xing Shi really wanted to give Yuqing to him as a Tao companion. Xing Shi nodded. It's not impossible for you to want Yuqing to be your Tao companion. I can agree. You are the fourth under the Western Buddha Lord after all. Do you want to take my disciple away empty-handed? Sha Sun was overjoyed. Sacred Lord Green Lotus clearly agreed to let him take Yuqing away. He hurriedly stood up and cupped his fists at Xing Shi, about to give her a series of benefits. At that moment, a cold voice was heard. My Tao technique has nothing to do with yours, Sacred Lord Green Lotus, Xing Shi. You didn't teach me anything either. It's not up to others to decide whose Tao companion I want to be. Ha ha. Xing Shi laughed out loud. Yuqing, do you think that you can trample me under your feet just because you reached the third step? Are you looking down on me? I'm going to make the decision today. After saying that, Xing Shi looked at Sha Sun and said, Sha Sun, since you want my disciple to be your Tao companion, let's see what you're capable of. As long as you can take her down, you can immediately enter her room and become Tao companions. As for the betrothal gift, we'll talk about it after you become Tao companions. Sha Sun was overjoyed and immediately said, Thank you, Sacred Lord Green Lotus. He could naturally see that there was something wrong with Yuqing and Sacred Lord Green Lotus. There was no master-disciple relationship between them. However, he didn't care about this at all. He just wanted Yuqing to be his cultivation vessel. Chapter 1499. Yuqing stared at Xing Shi and didn't even look at Lord Saison, who was walking over. She said in a cold tone, Xing Shi, you're more vicious than the most vicious person I've ever seen. You took me out of Jiangsha City just to make me sacrifice to the heaven-suppressing pillar for you. A shameless and vicious woman like you doesn't deserve to talk about a master-disciple relationship. Xing Shi didn't get angry at all and still said calmly, There's one thing you didn't say. I was going to turn you into a flower fertilizer. The flowers planted by a beautiful woman like you must be extremely beautiful. What kind of expression do you think your man would have if I took you into a flower and gave it to him? Yuqing's hands trembled in anger, but Xing Shi glanced at Saison. Does Lord Saison not like my disciple? Why haven't you done anything yet? Saison laughed and raised his hand. The prayer beads on his chest turned into 24 shadows, which faintly formed an illusory prayer bead space. At the same time, he said, Since I, Saison, have taken a fancy to this woman, how can I not do anything? By this time, he already knew that Yuqing and Xing Shi weren't master and disciple, but rather had a deep hatred between them. Yuqing clenched the green sword in her hand. She knew very well that since the witch clan had brought her here, it meant that they no longer cared about her life and death. She didn't blame the witch clan, as her strength had long stood at the peak of the witch clan. She also knew that even if she reached the third step, she was still far behind Xing Shi. Even if she died, she would never become a monk's cultivation furnace or Tao companion. There was only one person in her heart. For that person, she had left behind 10 ice walls in the time wilderness and frozen to death. That person had also burned Jiangsha City to death for her. Since she couldn't bring him back to life, what was wrong with dying again? Saisen, you're nothing. Even if sage Buddha Chu Pu came, he would be the same in my eyes. A clear voice came, and then a young man in a blue robe walked into the divine Magus palace. With just one voice, the aura of the Tao charm completely bound Seisen's 24 prayer beads, making it impossible for them to move forward. Tao Lord Ning. Chang Xiang was originally standing, but when he saw Ning Cheng come in, his face became a little unnatural. Ning Cheng had already said that he and Yu Qing were friends, yet he did not help Yu Qing at all. Ning Cheng did not care about it at all, he and Chang Xiang just wanted something from each other. Chang Xiang was not his friend, so he was not disappointed. If Shisan Xing or a friend like Tai Shu Shi were here, even if they knew that they would die, they would still help Yu Qing. You're still here. Yu Qing on seeing Ning Cheng was so excited that her hands started to tremble. When Ning Cheng appeared, she immediately knew that Ning Cheng did not die. That kind of aura could not be changed. She would never forget it. Ning Cheng walked over and spoke in a soft voice, I'm fine. Although it was also a reincarnation, it was somewhat different from an ordinary reincarnation. I only lost my cultivation. Otherwise, how could a mere mortal fire do anything to me? Wanderer. Yu Qing only managed to call out these two words, before she could no longer speak, as she fell into Ning Cheng's arms. After she knew that Ning Cheng was Wanderer, she had already made her choice. In the sea of twilight, Wanderer carried her on his back step by step. In the endless passage of time, it was Wanderer who took her across the dusk and saw the beautiful dawn. At the edge of the cracked glacier canyon, it was Wanderer who sent her to the edge of the transmission array, and then fell into the glacier. Even if she reincarnated, it was Wanderer who came back, rescued her from the fire, and replaced her to enter the fire to be burned to death. For him, she left behind 10 ice walls, to remember the kindness of a strange wanderer to her. For him, she cultivated crazily, hoping that one day she could save Wanderer again, and then wander the vast void with him. That Wanderer was called Ning Cheng, and she once thought that Ning Cheng had already fallen. She regretted it more than once. When Ning Cheng found her in Jiangsha City, she still doubted him. If she could do it all over again, she would have become his woman in that Yu clan's attic. Now that she saw him standing in front of her again, what regrets did Yu Qing have? What did she, Yu Qing, have to hesitate? She feared that she could not stay by Wanderer's side forever. Yu Qing. Ning Cheng felt the surging excitement of Yu Qing in his arms. He felt that even if he died immediately, he would have no regrets. Something flowed in his heart. A woman who could return to the time wilderness for a stranger like him and then leave behind 10 ice walls, what kind of pure heart did she have? Who are you? Sha Sun glared at Ning Cheng. If it weren't for Ning Cheng's strength, suppressing his Buddha beads with his imposing aura, he would have already attacked. Xing Shi also stood up. She did not speak and kept staring at Ning Cheng. When Sha Sun asked, she spoke up, this person's name is Ning Cheng. He has always coveted my disciple, but I didn't expect him to come here today. I originally wanted to marry my disciple to Reverend Sha Sun, but this person obviously wants to destroy the friendship between me and Buddhist Master Chu Pu. Xing Shi, you're shameless. Yu Qing felt Sha Sun's killing intent, and she immediately remembered what she and Ning Cheng were facing. Like Ji Hei, she also knew about Xing Shi's strength. This was a woman so powerful that it made people feel desperate. She had just stepped into the third step and was far from being Xing Shi's opponent. Even if I'm shameless, it's still better than a woman hugging a man in public and asking for sex. Xing Shi sneered. She didn't even have half a sacred master's demeanor. Ning Cheng patted Yu Qing's shoulder, motioning her not to be too angry. He then looked at Xing Shi and said, presumably, you should have refined that primordial chaos Tao charm, right? Do you think that you can be arrogant in front of me after refining the primordial chaos Tao charm and stepping into the convergence realm? I could cut you in half back then, and I can do it now. Xing Shi said in a calm voice, indeed, I chased you until you had nowhere to run and had to flee to Jiaoliang Mountain. Today, I can still chase you until you have nowhere to run. Oh, by the way, I'm afraid you won't have a chance to escape today. The Divine Magus Palace is one of the 3 supreme treasures of the witch race. Now that you've entered the Divine Magus Palace, do you still want to leave? Xing Shi didn't seem afraid of Ning Cheng at all. In fact, she hadn't expected that Ning Cheng would refine the primordial chaos Tao charm no slower than her. Xing Shi had originally thought that she had taken more than 100,000 years to integrate the primordial chaos Tao charm, which was considered very fast. The reason she had come to the witch race as soon as she had integrated the primordial chaos Tao charm was that she was afraid that Ning Cheng would be one step ahead of her. In the end, whatever she was afraid of happened. Although Ning Cheng wasn't one step ahead of her, he wasn't much slower than her. This thought flashed in Xing Shi's mind. So what if Ning Cheng had also integrated the primordial chaos Tao charm? Xing Shi had obtained a great opportunity when she had integrated the primordial chaos Tao charm, so she didn't believe that she couldn't defeat a mere Ning Cheng. Everyone in the witch race remained silent. Ancestor Di Hong only then realized that Yu Qing had such an expert behind her. If he had known that Ning Cheng had the strength to fight against Xing Shi, the witch race wouldn't have acted like a villain and handed Yu Qing over so easily. Now that Xing Shi and Ning Cheng had yet to determine the winner, even if Xing Shi brought up the matter of the Divine Magus Palace to drag the witch race down, he wouldn't say a word of nonsense. Even Ji He, who had come with Ning Cheng, kept her mouth shut. She knew that Ning Cheng was very strong, but she hadn't expected him to be strong enough to fight against Xing Shi. You're Ning Cheng, and I'm Sha Sun, the 4th seed of the Western Universe's Buddha Lord. After hearing the conversation between Ning Cheng and Xing Shi, coupled with the fact that Ning Cheng was far stronger than him, Sha Sun wanted to use the Western Universe's Buddha Lord to regain some face. Ning Cheng's gaze shifted from Xing Shi to Sha Sun. He suddenly took a step forward and raised his hand to slap. Is the Western Universe's Buddha Lord that amazing? Slap, slap, slap. A few clear and unmistakable sounds rang out. Every sound that fell into everyone's ears was like a huge hammer striking their hearts. It was hair-raising. Everyone in the witch race stared at Ning Cheng. Was this person crazy? He actually dared to slap the 4th seed of the Western Universe's Buddha Lord. This was simply courting death. Even if the 5 sacred masters joined forces, they wouldn't dare to do this, right? If it weren't for her fear of the Western Universe's holy Buddha Chu Pu, how could Xing Shi be so polite to Sha Sun? Even if he could fight against Xing Shi, he wasn't qualified to provoke the Western Universe's holy Buddha Chu Pu. You. Sha Sun almost went crazy with anger. When had he ever been bullied like this? The 24 Buddha beads seemed to have gone crazy at this moment. They broke free from Ning Cheng's aura suppression and turned into 24 rays of Buddha light that blasted towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth and said calmly, finally, it's a bit more like it. Otherwise, I would have been very disappointed. While talking, Ning Cheng raised his hand and grasped. An ice-cold space appeared and wrapped around the 24 rays of Buddha light. At the same time, Ning Cheng sent out a kick, which directly landed on Sha Sun's chest. Everyone could only hear the miserable sounds of bones breaking and flesh collapsing. Sha Sun truly felt afraid this time. Ning Cheng, you can't kill me. I'm the 4th venerable under the Buddha Lord. Ning Cheng laughed, how many times have you said it, idiot? Even if holy Buddha Chu Pu came to me in person, so what? I will still kill those who should be killed. While talking, Ning Cheng opened his hand, and a spear intent shot out, directly nailing Sha Sun to a huge pillar in the Divine Magus Palace. So what if he was under holy Buddha Chu Pu? It wasn't the first time he killed a disciple of holy Buddha Chu Pu. When he killed the fat monk, Ning Qing didn't feel as mellow as he did now. In just a short time, Ning Qing clearly felt that his realm had stabilized a lot compared to when he had just joined the Three Realms realm. Moreover, his attacks had become much easier. The entire divine Magus palace turned silent. Ning Qing killing Sha Sun was already a big deal. What was even more frightening was that Ning Qing killed Sha Sun as easily as killing an ant. Even Xing Shi might not be able to achieve such a realm, right? Chapter 1500. Chang Xiang sighed in his heart. He regretted it. If he had known that Ning Qing was this powerful, he would not have hesitated to stand up and help Yu Qing. Xing Shi's eyebrows also jumped. She had seen Ning Qing's move the most clearly. How could Ning Qing be so powerful after fusing with the primordial Dao charm? She was sure that Ning Qing's cultivation was more stable than hers after merging with the two realms. Sure enough, those who obtained the 5 treasures of fortune were not simple. It was ridiculous that Xianhuang Gaian and Yi Ji wanted to snatch the treasures from Ning Qing and Yi Mo. These two wanted to raise pigs, but ended up raising themselves as pigs. Senior apprentice brother wanderer. Yu Qing reacted and looked at Ning Qing in shock. She had seen Sha Sun once. He was very powerful, and she was not his opponent. Now that Ning Qing killed this guy easily, didn't it mean that Ning Qing did not fear Xing Shi at all? Ning Qing raised his hand and stopped Yu Qing. Yu Qing, just call me Ning Qing from now on. I disguised myself as Wanderer for. Well, I'll call you Big Brother Ning. Don't call me by my name directly. It makes me feel distant. You can call me Little Qing or Qing Er. Okay, then I'll call you Little Qing. Well, Qing Er is also fine. Yu Qing had reincarnated once and was no longer the young girl who did not dare to confess her love. For her, there was only one opportunity. If she missed it, she might have to wait for the next lifetime, or maybe never again. She missed it once in Time Wilderness and a second time in Jiangsha City. Would she miss it a third time? Even if there were many people around, she would not feel shy or embarrassed. There were indeed many people in the witch race's divine Magus palace. No one felt that Ning Qing and Yu Qing's display of affection was inappropriate or funny, nor was anyone willing to congratulate them. For the witch race's ancestor emperor and the rest, they did not care about the relationship between Ning Qing and Yu Qing, but about the upcoming disaster. The Western Universe's Buddha Lord Chu Pu's fourth venerable Sha Sun was killed in the witch race. Even if the witch race did not participate in it, the witch race could not escape from this matter. If the one who killed Sha Sun was not powerful, it would have been better. They could have joined forces to take Ning Qing down and send him to Chu Pu. In fact, even Sacred Lord Green Lotus couldn't say anything about Ning Qing's strength, let alone the witch race. In short, the sorcerer tribe could not be offended. Since they could not afford to offend either side, the Magi were caught in a dilemma. What was even more difficult was that this Tao Lord Ning Qing had nothing to do with the witch race. In other words, after the sorcerer tribe killed Sha Sun, they could just leave and clean up after the sorcerer tribe. Since you're done showing off your love, let me, Xing Shi, see how much Tao Lord Ning has improved after obtaining the primordial Tao runes. Xing Shi took a step forward. A green lotus suddenly condensed under her feet, and a blood-red sword floated in front of her. Xing Shi had successfully refined the primordial Tao runes and fused the realm. With the creation green lotus protecting her and the Avicii sword attacking, she indeed had enough capital to deal with anyone. Among the 5 treasures of good fortune, the golden page world and the mysterious yellow bead were treasures of the world's laws. They were extremely tough and difficult to break. Apart from that, it was also very helpful for its owner to cultivate and comprehend various great da'as, improving and purifying its owner's aptitude. The good fortune indestructible axe was the most offensive Dharma treasure and had the highest offensive power among the 5 treasures. The creation Green Lotus was a Dharma treasure with both offensive and defensive capabilities, although it was not as tough as the mysterious Yellow Bead and the Golden Page World. Its defensive effect in battle was definitely stronger than that of the mysterious Yellow Bead and the Golden Page World. In addition, the creation Green Lotus also had a powerful offensive ability. As for the Good Fortune Jade Disc, it had always been one of the most mysterious treasures. No one knew how powerful the Good Fortune Jade Disc was. This was because the Good Fortune Jade Disc had never been obtained by a second person, and its owner, Daoist Zixiao, was also a mysterious figure. After the Good Fortune War, the other 4 people who owned the 5 treasures of good fortune were either dead or injured. Their Dharma treasures were also damaged and were scattered in the vast universe. Only the Good Fortune Jade Disc and its owner were safe and sound. Ning Cheng motioned for Yu Qing to step back. Although Yu Qing had reached the 3rd step and her strength was considered outstanding in the witch tribe, it was still not enough compared to Xing Shi. Yu Qing also knew that she could not help much. She took a step back and still stared at Xing Shi's Avicii sword. She knew very well how strong Xing Shi was. When Xing Shi took her to tear apart various planes, she did not think much of it. Now that she had reached the 3rd step, she knew how terrifying Xing Shi was back then. The current Xing Shi was countless times stronger than she was back then. Even though Ning Cheng had easily killed Sha Sun, she was worried that Ning Cheng could not defeat Xing Shi. Ning Cheng's gaze fell on Xing Shi's Green Lotus, which was still missing a petal. He did not know if Xing Shi had deliberately not repaired the petal after obtaining it or if she had not obtained it. No matter what, he had met Xing Shi today. Even if he could not kill her, he would still severely injure this woman. With a wave of his hand, the creation divine spear fell into Ning Cheng's hand. The great and violent spear intent descended, and the entire divine Magus palace seemed to be filled with a murderous aura. All the experts of the witch race were silent. These 2 people were fighting in the divine Magus palace, the most precious treasure of the witch race, but no one from the witch race dared to speak. This was the sorrow of the witch race. What shocked them even more was that Ning Cheng had casually killed Sha Sun without even using his Dharma treasure. This long spear with astonishing power should be Ning Cheng's real Dharma treasure. When the Tao runes of the 2 collided and the space began to distort, the ancestor emperor of the witch race finally could not help cupping his fists and saying, "Sacred Lord Green Lotus, Tao Lord Ning, this is where the divine Magus palace of the witch race is located. Please take into account that the witch race did not neglect you and move to the void outside to fight." The ancestor emperor could not help but worry. His strength was far inferior to Ning Cheng and Xing Shi, but it did not mean that his eyesight was inferior to theirs. Once the 2 of them fought, even the divine Magus palace would not be able to withstand their monstrous auras. After the divine Magus palace was destroyed, the entire witch world would face destruction next. Ancestor Emperor Hong was sure that Ning Cheng and Xing Shi were not weaker than the 5 sacred lords back then. They might even be stronger. How many realms and planes had been destroyed in the creation war back then? Even the Jiaoliang mountain had been cracked. Once the 2 of them fought with all their might, the witch world might face the danger of disintegration. The witch world indeed wanted to go out, but it had not gone out yet. Once the witch world was destroyed, the witch race would not even have a place to live. This was a small matter. If the witch world was destroyed, how many disciples of the witch race would die? Perhaps after this battle, the witch race would really be wiped out from the 5-element universe. Moreover, the unknown Tao Lord Ning and the 2nd-generation Sacred Lord Green Lotus were already so terrifying. Could the witch race leave with this bit of strength? Xing Shi acted as if she did not hear Ancestor Emperor Hong's words. The Tao runes around her became even more majestic, and the aura of the Tao runes rose continuously like raging waves. Ji He also understood the consequences of the 2 of them fighting here. The witch race's ancestor emperor clearly could not control experts like Ning Cheng and Xing Shi. She hurriedly walked in front of Yu Qing and pleaded softly, "Sister Qing, can you talk to your big brother? Yuqing understood what was going on when the ancestor emperor asked the two of them to stop fighting. She hurriedly stepped forward and shouted, "Big brother Ning, let's fight this woman after we leave the witch world." The witch race had been kind to her. Even if the witch race could not bear the pressure and pushed her out, she would not forget that it was the witch race who had taken her in. Ning Qing nodded. He did not have a good or bad impression of the witch race. This was not the chaotic void, and the heaven-earth laws were not as solid as the chaotic void. Once he and Xing Shi fought here, the witch world was likely to shatter, and billions of living beings would disappear. Ning Qing restrained his aura, lifted Yuqing, and stepped out of the Archmagus Palace. When Xing Shi saw Ning Qing step into the Archmagus Palace, she also stepped out. However, she did not wait for Ning Qing to intercept her outside the witch world. She directly lifted her hand and tore the void of the witch race's realm, stepped into the void, and disappeared. That woman escaped. Everyone in the witch race looked at the void that Xing Shi had torn apart and looked at each other. Xing Shi was one of the 5 sacred lords after all. How could she escape from Tao Lord Ning? She escaped. Yuqing did not expect that Xing Shi, one of the 5 sacred lords, would escape without fighting. Ning Qing did not chase after Xing Shi. He knew that Xing Shi was not afraid of him escaping. This woman was scheming. The reason why she escaped without fighting was probably because she had not completely stabilized after merging the realms. In addition, the Gate of Fortune was about to open, and she did not want to be injured before it opened. Of course, the most important thing was that after feeling her strength, she knew that she could not do anything to him. Unfortunately, the idea of severely injuring this woman had failed. Forget it, let's go to the witch race again. I have a few things to ask that ancestor Emperor Hong. No matter how much Ning Qing wanted to kill Xing Shi, he knew that it would not be easy for him to catch up with her. Xing Shi's worries were also his worries. Xing Shi was not the only powerful opponent he faced. Witch race's ancestor Hong greets Tao Lord Ning. This was Ning Cheng's second time stepping into the witch race's territory. Ancestor Hong personally greeted him, his tone respectful and polite. He had seen Ning Cheng's strength with his own eyes. Even Sacred Lord Green Lotus was afraid to escape. What right did the witch race have to offend Tao Lord Ning? Tao Lord Ning, my witch race has neglected you before. Please forgive us. Ancestor Ji also hurried to Ning Cheng to ask for forgiveness. Behind him was Chang Xiang, who looked ashamed. He had spent a lot of effort to invite Ning Cheng to the witch race as a guest. However, so many things had happened in between. He had failed to befriend Ning Cheng. He really could not find a target to scold. Ning Cheng nodded. Under Ancestor Hong's lead, he entered the witch race and sat down. Ancestor Hong, the reason why I came to the witch race, other than to meet my friend, is that I have a few things to ask you. Ning Cheng sat down and said politely with cupped fists. Hong hurriedly stood up. Tao Lord Ning is my witch race's honored guest. If you have any questions, I will tell you everything I know. If Tao Lord Ning likes me, you can just call me Tao friend. Ancestor Hong knew that Ning Cheng would not call him Tao brother, so he simply called him Tao friend. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.